The Diamondbacks continued their Dodger dominance last night. Patrick Corbin shut down Matt Kemp and the rest of his LA teammates in front of a packed house here at Chase Field. The D-backs patient at the plate. They defeated Clayton Kershaw by playing the Diamondback way. Now Arizona AC and Kennedy faces off against Adrian Gonzalez and company next on Fox Sports Arizona.
Back here at Chase Field on a beautiful Arizona spring afternoon. It's a street fest out here as the Diamondbacks and Dodgers get set to play Game 2 of this three-game series. Arizona Diamondbacks baseball is presented by APS, the official power partner of the Diamondbacks. Food trucks, carnival-like atmosphere outside Chase Field here. Bob Brenly as the D-backs and Dodgers are set to play Game 2 of this three-game series. Good evening from Chase Field. Welcome to the broadcast. Steve Berthune, Bob Brenly, and a cavalcade of stars here outside Chase Field. BB, I have to say, this street festival thing is great because this is way more food than we even got at the pool the other night.
Well, one cheese curd is more food than we got at the pool the other night, but this looks great. The fans look like they're having an awesome time. It's a beautiful day for it and a great night for a ball game as well.
First 20,000 fans into Chase Field today got Beat LA t-shirts as the D-backs try to make it 2 in a row over their NL West rivals. And Bob, so far they've been doing it with defense.
Well, we talk a lot about the little things that this year's Diamondbacks ball club has been doing, and we should not overlook the defense. A couple of tremendous plays in the game last night. Cliff Pennington keeping the ball in the infield in the fourth inning, kept the Dodgers off the board. Double play later turned by Pennington and Josh Wilson. A great pick at first base by Paul Goldschmidt. Miguel Montero blocking pitches in the dirt with a man on third. All those little things added up to a big victory last night.
And it does seem like Diamondbacks-Dodgers games are special here. I think fans get a sense that this year they're in it to win it. They can compete with these guys despite the $200+ million payroll. It's a different atmosphere here this weekend.
Well, I think it shows that there's a couple of different ways to go about winning a division. The Dodgers decided to go out and spend the money, which they did. They've got a lot of great players over there. The Diamondbacks chose to go in a different direction, and that's what makes baseball so much fun, and we'll see where it all ends up at the end of the year.
Now we have a variety of food here. Anything look especially good to you?
Those meatballs right there have my name on them.
All right, we'll chow down, and when we come back, we'll talk Diamondbacks Dodgers. Brad Steinke has some injury news. We'll see a rotating change of outfielders in the D-backs outfield. Brad has all the news on that out here from the Street Festival outside Chase Field. Back after this.
Brought to you in part by the UPS Store. Flyers, business cards, brochures, and more. We can print that. By Valley Honda Dealer. There's a great deal on every new Honda. Visit your Valley Honda dealer today or online at valleyhondadealers.com. And by APS, the official power partner of the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Welcome back to Chase Field. Ian Kennedy looking to continue his mastery over the boys in blue here in Phoenix. Kennedy 3-0 lifetime against the Dodgers here at Chase Field. Well, it has been a tough couple of months for D-backs outfielder Jason Kubel. Banged up in spring with both knee and ankle issues, and today the trouble got worse. It's in his quad muscle, and as a result, Kubel placed on the 15-day disabled list. And in his place, another guy who battled an injury during spring training, outfielder Cody Ross. About an hour before game time, Ross was activated from the 15-day DL. His strained left calf muscle finally deemed ready to go. Ross had 7 games of rehab in both Visalia as well as Reno, and Kirk Gibson told him, be ready to go. There is more than likely a chance he will see action in today's game against the LA Dodgers. So stick around. It is baseball headed your way on Fox Sports Arizona. Ian Kennedy against the Korean sensation Ryu. It all heads your way next from Chase Field. Bob and Steve have the call.
In the Saturday black, taking the mound at Chase Field here against the Los Angeles Dodgers. In 7 starts against these Dodgers over the last 2 years, Kennedy has been absolutely outstanding. 6-1, a 2.36 ERA, just 12 earned runs allowed in over 45 2/3 innings. And this is the lineup, Bob Brenly, that he'll face for Don Mattingly's Dodgers. We'll see Carl Crawford leading off today.
Yeah, a little different look tonight for Don Mattingly. Some of the guys that he's inserted into the lineup have pretty good career numbers against Ian Kennedy. Veteran Ramon Hernandez behind the plate. Phenom Luis Cruz at third base. Be interesting to see how Ian attacks this lineup, because some of these guys have had good numbers against him in the past.
Let's take a look at our Arizona 4 Diamondback starting pitcher. It is Ian Kennedy. He has won all 3 of his previous starts against the Dodgers here at Chase Field.
You know, it's not that Ian was horrible in his second outing against the Milwaukee Brewers. It's just that he was so good in that first outing on opening day against the Cardinals. Went 7 innings, gave up only 5 hits and 2 runs in that game. Struck out 8, walked 1. Had the really good changeup going on opening day. It wasn't quite as good for him his second start against the Brewers.
A win last night. Patrick Corbin was tremendous. Diamondbacks here going for 2 in a row on Beat LA T-shirt day. There's Patrick Corbin. He somehow beat Clayton Kershaw last night. Patrick was terrific, and now Ian Kennedy, their opening day ace, is on the mound. Here's Carl Crawford stepping in, 14 for 34, off to a red-hot start this year in 2013. First pitch from Ian Kennedy is a strike. We're underway at Chase Field. Jim Reynolds is the home plate umpire.
Now, Crawford did not start in the ball game last night, but we saw him come on as a pinch hitter in the 8th inning and promptly punched out against David Hernandez.
Center field, A.J. Pollock. One away. Diamondbacks defensively, much the same look we saw last night here. Another left-hander on the mound for the Dodgers, so ALFREDO MARTE is in left field. Aaron Hill's hands still not quite ready, but improving, so it's Josh Wilson. And Bob, we talked about it in the open. The defense here, especially the infield defense, has been outstanding.
Tremendous infield defense, tremendous defense around the field. These guys are ready to play. They anticipate. They see where the pitch is in relation to the plate, inside, outside, and they get a little bit better jump on the ball than a lot of teams I've seen this year.
Skip Schumacher playing second base today for the Dodgers. There's Aaron Hill. Kurt Gibson told us before the game he won't hesitate to use Aaron if he needs a right-hand pinch hit situation today. But he's got that inflammation where the ball hit him on the top of the hand. And it's the kind of thing that when he really grips the bat hard and grimaces and swings hard, that's when it kind of flares up. And you want that inflammation to heal before you do that. But he is available to pinch hit today if needed. 2-1 now to Skip Schumacher, who's been playing some outfield and some second base for the Dodgers this year. Coming over from the Cardinals. He's at second base today. 1 for 9 in 9 games so far. Here's Aaron Hill Tuesday against the Pirates. It's a miracle it wasn't more serious than that.
Yeah, I mean, there is just not much padding in that area. Once you get down past the forearm into the wrist and hand area, it is very fortunate he didn't suffer a broken bone.
2-2 now. Second base, there's Josh Wilson in for Aaron Hill. 2 up, 2 down to the first against Ian Kennedy. More injury news on the Diamondbacks. You heard Brad Steinke tell us Jason Kubel was put on the DL just before the game today with a quad injury suffered when he scored from second on that wild pitch, Bob, in Milwaukee.
Well, the good news is Cody Ross is 100%. We talked to him during batting practice today. You know, injuries are going to happen to baseball teams throughout the course of the summer. You just hope to get them out of the way early, get your guys healthy and on the field producing. Cody Ross is biting at the bit to get in that lineup.
He says he feels great, no problems whatsoever running. Matt Kemp now. First pitch swinging, foul down the right-hand side.
Not that Cody Ross needed a test of that injured left calf, but he's told us he got hit by a pitch playing in the California League on his rehab assignment right in the left calf.
Yeah, he said the pitching for a Class A Visalia, or the pitching they faced, I should say, a little unpredictable, to put it politely. So there was a point at which it was becoming counterproductive. He did play for a AAA Reno yesterday, and he's here today, all set for the road trip, activated and ready to go. 0-1 to Matt Kemp. 1-1. Kemp off to a very slow start this year. 7 for 37 as he steps in here. No homers and 2 RBI. He struck out 9 times in 37 at bats, hitting .189. In the air, right center. Hara wants it. Ian Kennedy. 3 up, 3 down. Diamondbacks in their Saturday blacks on Beat LA Saturday. We'll bat in the bottom of the first. We'll see Hyunjin Ryu when we come back.
beat LA Saturday. Diamondbacks and Dodgers a quick 1-2-3 10-pitch first inning for Ian Kennedy. There's Kirk Gibson wearing the Saturday black here, has A.J. Pollock in the leadoff spot.
After Pollock, you'll see Parra, Prado, Goldschmidt, Montero, Marte. I thought he was due for a big night last night. Maybe it's tonight. Josh Wilson filling in at second base for Aaron Hill. Cliff Pennington with stellar defense at the shortstop position. And Ian Kennedy hiding down there in the 9 spot, 0 for 5 on the season.
A.J. Pollock 7 for 26, 269, 2 homers and 6 RBI, and he takes a strike from Hyunjin Ryu. Signed a 6-year, $36 million contract in the offseason. That came on top of a $25.7 million posting fee.
Big left-hander, 6'2", 225 pounds, throws a fastball, a changeup, a curve, and a slider. Sandy Koufax was extremely impressed with the Korean left-hander in spring training and his ability to command that fastball in, out, up, down.
Ryu comes in 1-1, a 2.13 ERA. There's the repertoire. This is his 3rd career start. In his previous 2 starts, he lasted 6 1/3 innings both times. He pitched against the Pirates on Sunday, gave up a 2-run homer in the first, and then allowed only 2 more hits while striking out 6. Struck him out looking, 1 away.
And Ryu won just about every award you could possibly win in the Korean baseball organization. 7-time All-Star, 5-time led the league in strikeouts. Going to look at his delivery. Not as many idiosyncrasies as a lot of Asian pitchers that come to America. Very straightforward, driving toward home plate, using that frame, using his height.
Gerardo Parra batting second tonight against the left-hander. Parra 15 for 44, 341. Stepping in at a .420 on base percentage. Bob, you mentioned Ryu's record in Korea. He was a very successful starting pitcher for the Hanwha Eagles of South Korea in Korea's major baseball league. That's called the KBO. He led the league in strikeouts 5 times. He was an all-star in each of his 7 seasons. Second base, Skip Schumacher. 2 down. Good crowd on hand this afternoon. It's gorgeous out here. Absolutely perfect evening for baseball. Panels and roof are open. Just a little bit of a breeze. An absolutely gorgeous night. And here comes Martin Prado playing third base today and batting third.
Every time a Diamondbacks player hits a home run this season, Fulton Holmes will donate $150 to the Central Arizona Mountain Rescue Association.
Martin 304, 14 for 46, a homer and 5 RBI. 1-0. Getting on base at a .353 percentage. Ryu misses. It's 2-0. He went 98 and 52 with a 2.80 ERA in 190 career games in the KBO. He holds the league record. In fact, he had 17 strikeouts in 1 game back in May of 2010. 2-1 now.
Won the pitching triple crown back in 06, pitching in Korea. That's wins, strikeouts, and ERA. And you see his velocity not overpowering, in the high 80s, low 90s with the fastball. It's fairly straight, but as I mentioned earlier, his command of that pitch is what sets up his off-speed deliveries.
His fastball so far this season in his 2 previous starts has averaged 91 miles an hour. So as Bob said, he's not tremendously overpowering in terms of velocity, but he can be very effective. A changeup and curveball, he can throw both for strikes. I asked Martin, Bob, during batting practice, I said, now what's the deal with the socks? Because we've noticed sometimes it's high socks, and I thought initially it was only when the Diamondbacks wore the Sedona red would he go high socks, but then he went high socks last night, and he sort of looked at me and he goes, you'll see, you'll figure it out. He was a little sneaky about it. So clearly there is a sock plan. We just kind of have to figure out the pattern and pick up on it.
We'll keep an eye on that. Developing story.
That's right. Our investigative crew will figure that out.
3-2 now to Martin PRADO. Center field, Matt Kemp backing up. He's got it. 6 up, 6 down in the first inning. Whoa, beat LA under the Dodger jersey. Interesting. Scoreless after 1. AT&T Twitter poll question on the Beat LA t-shirt day. What's better than beating LA? Put your hashtag in front and take your choice. Ice cream, puppy dogs. Kind of a warm and fuzzy vote there. Nothing's better. That's probably the answer. Or sliced bread. As in beating LA is the best thing since. Uh-oh. Somebody has altered their shirt. Is that allowed? It's not cool. Adrian Gonzalez to lead off the second. 1-0. Gonzalez 333, a homer and 8 RBIs. 12 for 36 to start the year.
I mentioned, Steve, some guys in the lineup for Don Mattingly and the Dodgers tonight because of their past history against Ian Kennedy. Luis Cruz in there at third base, 3 for 5 lifetime. He's filling in for Juan Uribe, who's 0 for 8 lifetime. Skip Schumacher, a .455 hitter against Kennedy. Filling in for Mark Ellis at second base. Ellis 0 for 6 against Kennedy. And also Ramon Hernandez getting the nod behind the plate tonight. .333 lifetime hitter as opposed to A.J. Ellis, who's only 2 for 9 in his career. That's what a manager tries to do. When you get your bench guys in the game, hopefully match them up against a pitcher they've had past success against.
2-1 now. Inside, yeah, as we mentioned, Ian has done so well against the Dodgers in his career that you'll be hard-pressed, Don Mattingly, to find a guy who's had success in your lineup against him.
Well, Adrian Gonzalez is widely recognized one of the best hitters in the game. He's only 2 for 16 lifetime with 6 strikeouts against Ian Kennedy.
Last year, Ian against the Dodgers, 2-1, a .92 ERA in 3 starts. 3-2 now. There's the record against LA. Last 7 starts, 5-1. The ERA 2.36. WHIP, which is a stat that will hit you with all season long. That stands for walks plus hits divided by innings pitched, and that is an excellent number. Anything under, well, really 1.1 is very good. Base hit to right. Leadoff single here in the second for Gonzalez.
Gonzalez leading off the inning here in the second. Diamondbacks were able to manage the guys in front of him in the lineup last night. He led off the inning 2 times in the ball game last night, and his first plate appearance today comes with nobody on base.
And we don't say this to mock, but he might be among the slowest base runners in all of the major leagues. So keep that in mind when you're throwing to a base. Here's Andre ETHIER now. Adrian is He's a superb hitter. He's just not fast. 1-0 now.
Well, I'll say this firmly with tongue in cheek. He makes up for it with that aggressive lead he takes off the bag at first. He was about 3 feet off the base when that pitch was delivered to home plate. Not only is he slow, but he's timid on the bases.
As they say, so slow he has to speed up to stop. But boy, he can hit. 2-0 now.
My own personal favorite is he runs like he's mad at the ground. But you're right, he can swing that bat.
Andre Ethier is at .273 this year, a homer and 2 RBI. He has 10 strikeouts in 33 at bats, Ethier, so something of a slow start here. And after a 10-pitch first inning, Ian is already laboring a bit here in the second. 2-1.
Borderline pitch. Just off the outside corner, according to our Fox tracks.
Jim Reynolds behind the plate. Three and one. Your umpires tonight. There's a shot of Jim Reynolds. He has the play tonight around the bases. We go James Hoy at first. John Hirschbeck, the crew chief, is at second. And Bob Davidson over at third. So watch your balk move toward third base. 3-1 now. He runs it full, the second straight hitter in this inning.
This is not the kind of swing we're used to seeing Andre Ethier take in a very favorable hitter's count at 3-1. Fastball tailing away from him, very defensive swing. Top hand comes off the bat. That's not the kind of hack you like to see one of your middle of the lineup run producers take when the count is in his favor.
Walked him. Got the call from Jim Reynolds earlier in the at-bat. Did not get it here.
Yeah, a little late movement on that changeup. Just takes it off of the outside corner.
So 2 on, nobody out here for the Dodgers, and it's the catcher Ramon Hernandez. And he is the new catcher here. Dodgers got him from the Rockies just last week in a trade for Aaron Harang and cash.
I mentioned he's 3 for 9 lifetime against Ian Kennedy. All 3 hits, extra bases, 2 doubles and a homer.
Sun peeking through here at Chase Field. There is Ramon Hernandez. Those are his career numbers. A .264 hitter, 166 home runs. Best season likely 2006 with the Orioles. Had career highs 23 homers and 91 RBI. This is his 15th season in the big leagues. 0-1. Gonzalez on second, Ethier on first. A single and a walk here to lead off the second. Third base, Prado. They get the force at second, and they turn the double play with a slow running Hernandez up the line. Gonzalez to third, 2 outs now.
We just love the way the Diamondbacks defense works when they know they have a slow runner coming out of that batter's box. Martin Prado, with no sense of urgency, gets to the ball, makes sure he has a good grip, a good feed to Josh Wilson right on the letters. Easy double play with the slow moving Ramon Hernandez coming out of the batter's box.
And now the slumping Luis Cruz stepping into the batter's box at 3 for 26 on the year. No homers, 1 RBI. He's batting .115 here. And it's been very slow going out of the gate for Cruz here in 2013. 0-1. Cruz went through an 0 for 17 skid and said he was almost as excited when he got his first big league hit back in 2008 when he finally snapped it. .2 now. Cruz's father, Luis, played in the Mexican League for a long time, finished with a career batting average, in fact, of just under 300. And Cruz said when he was struggling last week, his father was sitting in a field level seat at Dodger Stadium and joked with him. He's like, "You're struggling. You want me to hit for you?" Kind of loosened him up a little bit, he said. Struck him out. Dodgers get 2 on and nobody out. Ian Kennedy gets a double play ball and a strikeout. They're still filing in here at Chase. You're just in time. Still no score. D-backs coming up bottom 2. Powered by Ram Trucks, proud partner of the Arizona Diamondbacks. By Scottsdale Healthcare. Get back in the game with Scottsdale Healthcare Orthopedic Services. And by Gila River, proud partner of the Arizona Diamondbacks. Spider Rock, nice look. No score, bottom 2. Ian Kennedy and Hyunjin Ryu here at Chase Field on a gorgeous Saturday night. In the Valley of the Sun, there's Ian Kennedy. Gave up a single and a walk to lead off the second, then got a double play ball and a strikeout to get off the hook. Goldschmidt, Montero, and Marte here in the second. 0-1. Paul Goldschmidt, 316, 2 homers and 9 RBIs, slugging .579. He's behind here quickly, 0-2 now. Through his first 10 games, Paul Goldschmidt hitting .316 with 12 hits. Last season through 10 games, Goldie was hitting .200 with 6 hits. And his torrid start, Bob, is one big reason why the Diamondbacks are where they are on top of the NL West.
It always helps to get off to a fast start when the guys in the middle that are in those RBI spots do their job.
There it is. Oh, a broken bat off the fist for a base knock to center. Diamondbacks have their first hit. Everything's kind of going right for Goldie right now.
Even when he mishits it, he gets a base hit. Defensive mode with a 2-strike count. That ball got in on him just a little bit. It goes without saying he's strong enough to muscle that ball into the shallow outfield for a leadoff single here in the second.
So Goldie's aboard. In steps Miguel Montero. Miggy at 265, a homer and 7 RBI. 9 for 34 on the year. There's the defense. Montero has walked 6 times. He's got a .349 on base percentage. He's slugging .382. Throw over. Keep an eye on Goldie. 18 steals last year. Caught only 3 times. Montero has hit safely in 5 of the D-backs' 7 home games so far this year. Had an opportunity yesterday to sit down and talk to Miguel. Did a long half-hour interview. You'll see that coming up later this year on Fox Sports Arizona. A little coffee over at Chloe's Corner, over a couple of blocks over from the ballpark.
Nice.
Yeah, it was a nice little setup, and we talked about Miggy growing up in Venezuela and learning the English language, coming over here, and how he broke into the big leagues. Really, really fun stuff.
I hope he was drinking decaf.
No. I think it was black iced coffee for him. He gets excited. But that's one of the great things about him. He loves the game and it's genuine.
Yeah, most people have to wait until later into the afternoon to see what kind of a day they're having or going to have. I'll tell you, Miggy hits the ground running. It's a good day. Every day is a good day.
2-1 now. Said when he was growing up, his favorite team was the Oakland A's. He was a big fan of the Bash brothers. He said, when I was a kid, all I wanted to do was hit. But now he'll tell you that catching and the responsibilities that come with that are 90% of what he does. He and the pitcher go through the game together. Upstairs, Ryu now. It's 3-1.
Yeah, most catchers will tell you that's a saving grace. Even on those days when maybe offensively you don't do anything to contribute to the team, if you can get your pitcher through the ball game, get your relievers out there to get the guys they're supposed to get out, at the end of the day you feel like you've done a good job.
Goldschmidt on first after the single to lead off the inning, and Montero fouls it down the left-hand side. Miggy building a big house here in the Valley. Should be ready about June, he says. He's excited about that. He's got a lot going on now. There's Brandon McCarthy. And once he got on the same page with Miguel Montero in the last start, they were able to really be a successful combo against the Pirates as Miggy strikes out, one down. Second strikeout for Ryu.
Now, first look for this Diamondbacks offense of Ryu. It may take an at-bat or two to find his release point, see the movement on his pitches. Miggy with a very defensive swing that time on a slider in the dirt.
Another left-hand starter for the Dodgers, so another start for Alfredo Marte. 235. No homers, 2 RBI. 4 for 17 on the year. And Bob, we were both watching batting practice down in the field, and we sort of said to each other at the same time, Alfredo's this close to hitting one out of here about 500 feet. It just seems like it's coming.
He just looked hitterish at first at bat against Clayton Kershaw in the ball game last night. He ended up grounding hard to third base, but he just looked like his timing was perfect last night.
High in the air. Sellers calling everyone off at shortstop. He catches it in shallow left center. 2 down. Goldschmidt back to first.
I was talking to Turner Ward before the ball game today, the assistant hitting coach for the Diamondbacks, and we were trying to find a comparison for Alfredo Marte, and he said that in his eyes a little bit like Jose Guillen, a guy that had a great major league career, also had a cannon for a throwing arm, had prodigious power.
Josh Wilson now 1 for 6 on the year, couple of walks. In there at second base again today for Aaron Hill. Josh 1 for 3 yesterday. Got his first start of the season Wednesday afternoon against the Pirates. 1 0 for 2, couple of walks, RBI and a run scored. And the infield defense with Wilson and Pennington second and short was spectacular here last night. I mean, I think, Bob, that's really what won them the game.
I don't think there's any question about it. We've talked a lot about the defense already this year, and we will continue to do so. Your offense is going to go through cycles. They're going to hit the ball well at times. They're going to struggle at times. Your pitching staff will do the same thing. You'd like to think the one constant is the ability to catch the ball and throw it to the right base every day. And so far the Diamondbacks have done that in an outstanding fashion.
And that double play they turned late was spectacular. Cliff Pennington made a great diving stop in the hole to save a run. They've just really made all the plays defensively. And Goldschmidt has been terrific at first. Anytime there's a bad throw. 2-1 now. Here's last night. This ended the game with J.J. Putz on the mound.
Boy, talk about ending with a flourish. Backhanded play, the shovel glove to glove. Pennington at his back turned to the runner, spins around and fires a strike over to first base. Can't do it any better than that.
Oh, that's just gorgeous. And J.J. certainly happy to see that behind him. There's Cliff on deck. 3-2 now to Josh Wilson. Josh last year 241, 5 homers and 43 RBIs. That was with the Atlanta Braves AAA team in Gwinnett. Played 122 games. We have some debris on the field. Gorgeous night. What a great night to be out here. And a great day for the street festival too. The weather was great. A lot of people out there. Everybody getting their Beat LA t-shirts. It was a great environment out there. 3-2 now. Struck him out. 3 strikeouts now for Hyunjin Ryu. We're through 2. Diamondbacks and Dodgers. No score here at Chase Field.
Know this, but April is Donate Life Month in Arizona. That is Reggie the donor cactus. About 2,400 people in Arizona are waiting for a life-saving donor transplant right now, and I'm joined by Sarah Pace-Jones, whose organization is doing some great stuff. Tell me what Donate Life Month is all about to you.
Donate Life Month is all about spreading hope and generosity that happens when one person signs up to be a donor. So what we're doing this month is encouraging everybody in Arizona to sign up to be a donor. It doesn't matter how old you are or what diseases or illnesses you might have. Everybody should sign up to be a donor. So we ask people to go to donatelifeaz.org to sign up. One person can save and heal the lives of over 50 people, and really one person offers hope and generosity to the 2,400 Arizonans who are waiting for a transplant.
And you've got a big group here today, 750 people. And when you talk about this interaction, the donor family and the recipient, there's a lifetime bond, literally, that's formed there.
Literally a lifetime bond when one person heals the life of someone else that goes on living. And we hear from donor families all the time how much that really means to them, that their loved one goes on living. It's a tremendous gift to give.
You told me the numbers. In America, there are a lot of people awaiting a transplant.
Absolutely. There are 120,000 people waiting, which is roughly 2.5 times, the amount of people who can fill this ballpark. So if you can imagine that many people just waiting for hope that is offered by when one person becomes a donor. So anybody can do it today, can sign up to be a donor.
How satisfying is it for you, your organization, when you get together 2 different people in an interaction and save a life?
It's the best job in the world, for sure. And anybody really can be a part of it. And that's why we encourage everybody to go register. If you have already registered, there's still something you can do. We've launched a new site this year called liveonaz.org. You can put your name on this virtual wall of life to really represent how important donation is in Arizona.
Sarah, great stuff. Keep up the good work.
Thanks a lot, Brad.
Bob and Steve, back up to you.
Brad, thanks very much. Tremendous work. Everybody's out there wearing their T-shirts down in the left field corner, having a great time here at Chase Field. Paul Goldschmidt under. Justin Sellers pops up, one down here in the third. Here they are. Remember, Diamondback game, a great place for a group outing.
And it's great, Bob. I like when everybody wears the same shirt.
Yeah, it's easy to find them. Ran into some of the people down on the field before the ball game. What a tremendous group. They do great work, help a lot of people in a lot of different ways. And tonight, they're helping the D-backs win a ball game.
We thank all of them for their tremendous work, and thanks for coming out to the Diamondbacks game. Hyunjin Ryu is up there. A little chopper. Third base side, it's foul. Now you're saying, hold on, this guy was throwing lefty. Well, pitching is the only thing Ryu does left-handed. He says he does everything right-handed except pitch.
He's a true lefty then.
He eats, writes, plays ping pong, bats righty. That's foul. He said he didn't take up baseball until he was 10 years old. His father was a really good rugby player. And he's here. There they are. There's his parents. So Dad was a rugby player, didn't really follow baseball a whole lot, so he wanted to get his son a new glove. Well, he accidentally bought one that was left-handed. Thinking, you know what? Let's just keep it, because now that we look at it, there's more advantage to being left-handed. So keep the glove and throw lefty. So he does. Parra, right field, back it up, and it's over his head. It drops in off the wall. Ryu heads for second. And he's in there with a stand-up double, batting right-handed. Mom and Dad are on their feet here at Chase Field. Bob Davidson gets the baseball, his first major league hit. And that was no cheapie, Bob.
No, the first two swings I had my doubts, but Ryu on the last one barrels up a fastball up and out over the plate. Parra was playing him cheap out there in right field after he saw the first two swings, and Mom and Dad fired up for his first major league base hit.
That's a great moment.
Hey, you saw Dad wait a while before he started clapping. He knows Gerardo Parra has a good throwing arm in right field.
Hyunjin Ryu. First big league hit. One out double here in the third against Ian Kennedy. And they have the baseball in the dugout. I wonder if they're going to pull the old pretend to throw it into the stands trick. Crawford. Out of play.
Well, the old protocol used to be to take a batting practice ball and write some very uncomplimentary things on it about your first hit in the major leagues. Swung late, hit a chopper or hit a blooper to right field, and not much of a hit, and hand him that ball after the game and keep the real ball, which has been appropriately labeled, the date, the time, the opposing pitcher.
I think they're going to play it straight here. Or that might be the fake ball. I mean, we could be getting faked out.
Yeah.
Not the first time. Well, that is the real one, we're told. Mitch Riggin often likes to shoot into opposing dugouts, and you never know what we're going to find. Crawford behind now, 1-2. He flied out to center his first time up. And the way he's been going, if you can keep him off the bases, you're doing it right. He's off to a tremendous start this year. Lace to right field. Parra drops in front. Ryu will stop at third. First and third, one out here.
Crawford came off the bench as a pinch hitter in the 8th inning last night. As I mentioned earlier, looked like he was really tardy, just didn't appear to be ready to take the at-bat, but not the case that time. Jumped all over that delivery, line drive into right field. You see where he ranks among major league leadoff hitters.
So Ryu on third, Crawford on first. There's the defense for Skip Schumacher. Rounded to second his first time up. Schumacher, the second baseman today. He takes it to right. Parra is there. Ryu tags. Here's the throw. And he's going to hold up at third. Gerardo Parra. 2 down. Doing the little things right. That's one of them.
I just like the idea that Gerardo Parra doesn't wait to see what the runner's going to do. So many outfielders will catch the ball, take an extra crow hop, to see if that runner is going to try to score from third base. Now, coming down the line a little bit. Tim Wallach, the third base coach, throws up the stop sign. It's probably a good thing for the Dodgers because Parr's throw was right on the money.
And now Matt Kemp steps up, and boy, is he slumping this year. He's been the complete opposite of Carl Crawford. Kemp 7 for 38 on the year. No homers, 2 RBIs. He flying out to right his first time up. First and third, 2 outs here in the third. One and 0. Kemp admitted earlier this week he's frustrated. Crawford's going well. Ellis, who's not playing well, not playing today, is going well. You can see last year you couldn't get him out in April. Then he hurt his hamstring, and it was all downhill from there. This year only 184. Says he's got to get in the mix of helping his team out. Long pause by Kennedy, and Kemp wants time. He says whether it's moving runners over, driving him in, getting on base for Gonzalez, who's behind him, says he just has to do a better job. Did not have a good spring and has not had a good start. There's Gonzalez on deck. High in the air. Kemp slams his bat down in disgust. Parra, they strand 2. Check out Matt Kemp. The slow start to 2013 is beginning to wear on the Dodgers MVP candidate. He strands 2 more base runners here in 2013. Will go bottom 3, no score. Be right here, Chase Field with us. Lots of holidays this summer, so make plans now and buy tickets. Mother's Day is coming up Sunday, May 12th. Bring Mom. She'll get a D-backs tote bag courtesy of Diet Pepsi. Don't forget Memorial Day. That's Monday, May 27th. Great day to be here. Doubleheader against the Texas Rangers. First game 12:40, second game 6:40, and you can stick around between games. Just go outside the ballpark for a street festival outside Chase Field. July 5th, spend 4th of July weekend at Chase on Friday, July 5th, 6:40. The D-backs and Rockies. First 15,000 get the Stars and Stripes T-shirt, courtesy of Ram Trucks. Then stick around for a post-game fireworks spectacular, courtesy of Gila River Casino. So a lot going on all summer long here at the ballpark at Chase Field, and it is an absolutely perfect night to be here tonight. D-backs and Dodgers, no scores. We head to the bottom of the third. Pennington, Kennedy, and Pollock 8-9-1 in a scoreless game as Ian Kennedy strands 2 Dodgers in the top of the third. Here's Cliff Pennington. 0-1. Cliff 231, 9 for 39 on the year. Youngji Ryu won a gold medal on Korea's winning team at the 2008 Beijing Olympic Games. He was very good for them. 2-0, a 1.04 ERA. Threw a 5-hit shutout against Canada. Doesn't throw real hard, as we've said, about 90-91 consistently. But he can throw that fastball to both sides of the plate. Has a very good changeup. That's his best secondary pitch. Strikes out Pennington looking. 4 strikeouts now for Hyunjin Ryu. That's 2 in a row.
You see the range of speeds for Ryu. 92 has been the high on the fastball, usually right around 90 comfortably, and the 78-mile-per-hour pitch was the straight changeup. Well, we saw Kershaw last night in 2 strike counts throw a lot of strike fastballs. I think the Diamondbacks hitters are going to have to change their thinking a little bit in those counts. It looked like last night against Kershaw they were waiting for him to waste a pitch, and certainly Pennington that time taking a very hittable fastball in a 2-strike count.
Ian Kennedy fouls one behind the Dodger dugout, first base side. Clayton Kershaw. It was funny to read Clayton Kershaw's comments after the start last night. He said, after the first inning, basically I had no curveball and I was just throwing all fastballs. He did strike out 9 and finished his night 1 strikeout shy of 1,000 for his career. Ryu ahead here 0-2. I mean, that for a guy that had absolutely nothing but a fastball, that's not bad.
Yeah, not bad at all. You'll take that.
0-2 now. Got him. 5 strikeouts for Hyunjin Ryu, including 3 in a row. There's Patrick Corbin, who looked terrific last night.
Well, what a big step forward for Patrick Corbin. I mean, it's going to be a long season. I'm sure he's going to hit some speed bumps along the way, but hooked up with one of the best left-handers in the game last night, and Patrick Corbin answered the bell and matched him pitch for pitch. Outstanding job by the young lefty.
Ryu has now struck out 3 in a row, and 4 of the last 5 as A.J. Pollock steps up. He struck out looking his first time up. And he laces one to the gap in right center. That'll get down. A.J. Pollock takes the turn. He's got good speed. Kemp plays it off the wall and slips, and A.J. wants 3. No, he's going to stay at second. And they have him picked off. He's back safely. Oh, he got hung up in no man's land there. He saw Kemp slip. He was looking out toward right center when he went down. And he just took off for third, but then suddenly put on the emergency brake. And Don Mattingly wants to know, the throw clearly beat him back to the bag. What happened?
Well, we're going to get another look. First of all, nice hit by A.J. Pollock, driving that first pitch fastball into the gap in right center. Kemp had some issues, slipped right there on the warning track. Yeah, Pollock saw it, and then he stumbled himself around the bag at second.
I mean, that play's just a mess. Oh, he's out.
Ooh, is he ever?
Now the umpires rotate over on plays like that. John Hirschbeck, the crew chief, is the second base umpire. To see another look at it and see if Hirschbeck was at the bag when they made the call. Let's see how they rotate up. It looked like he stumbled as he stepped on the base. And he's out. But he's safe, so it's A.J. Pollock's 3rd double of the year. 2-out base runner.
Make it hurt.
Parra.
Make it hurt.
0-1. Parra grounded to second his first time up. Now 15 for 45 on the year. Boy, AJ's had a terrific week with the bat. Really hitting the ball well. He's driving it to the gaps. 1-1. Parra has reached base safely in 9 of the D-backs' 10 games this year. What a presence he's been at the top of this order. He's not leading off tonight. Wasn't last night either. But as you can see, in the leadoff spot this year, which is where he's been most of the time, Bob, he's been as good as you can ask for.
Much better than a stopgap at the top of that order, that's for sure. Gerardo Parra doesn't care where he hits in this Diamondbacks lineup. He just wants to play ball.
Shoots it the other way, foul.
Kirk Gibson during batting practice today was just raving about Gerardo Parra and his competitiveness. He says, I don't know if we have a guy on the team that wants to win as bad as Gerardo Parra.
Yeah, he told us this guy is not afraid of anybody. He will not back down.
And that's right in Gibby's wheelhouse. He's behind here, 1-2. Parra heading into this series, career against righties 290, against lefties 250. 2-2. The Beat LA chant makes its way around Chase Field here. This place is jammed. Great crowd here today. And all the Beat LA t-shirts. Hi there, young man. He's got his Beat LA t-shirt on. Yeah, there it is. Showed off. Nice. Ryu goes through the signs with Ramon Hernandez. Struck him out. 6 strikeouts for Hyunjin Ryu through 3. D-backs get a hit. They strand 1. We're through 3 here at Chase Field. No score. D-backs and Dodgers. Score. The Ian Kennedy set to start the 4th against LA. He'll face Adrian Gonzalez, Andre Ethier, and Ramon Hernandez. 4, 5, and 6 in the LA order. Gonzalez singled his first time up. 13 for 37 on the year, a homer and 8 RBI.
I mentioned it in his last at bat. This is the 4th time in a game and 4 innings that Adrian Gonzalez has led off an inning. That is outstanding. That's right where you want him.
Dodgers have not scored a run versus the Diamondbacks now in 20 consecutive innings. And that streak might be about to end. Gonzalez gets a hold of one, and right on cue, it's out of here. 1-0 LA.
Very little doubt about that one. Adrian Gonzalez is a strong man, caught that ball right on the sweet spot of the bat. The only question was it too high?
What do you mean it's too high?
Too high.
Who cares? It's out of here.
Pitch is just a little below the belt. Gerardo Parra runs all the way back to the barrier, climbs the fence to try to make a catch out there. Did we just say he was competitive?
Andre Ethier now. He walked his first time up, 0-1. Well, Gonzalez says when he's up there with men on base and he knows all he needs to do to drive in a run is take a single, he's content with that. But he says it's a lot simpler when nobody's on. That's when he tries to get big and try and get more out of the at-bat by looking for a double or a home run there. And he comes up to lead off the 4th, base is empty, and crushes one to right field.
Adrian Gonzalez is 3rd on the active career home runs against the Diamondbacks. Todd Helton, the Colorado Rockies, with 35. Matt Kemp with 23. And now with that last blast, Adrian Gonzalez with 21 long balls against the D-backs.
There it is. Behind Todd Helton and his teammate Matt Kemp. Good view from out in the outfield here, Chase Field. It's like good food, too. Struck him out. Second strikeout of the game for Ian Kennedy.
Catcher, Ramon Hernandez.
Ramon Hernandez hit into a double play his first time up. Roof open, panels open, a little bit of a breeze blowing through here. Want to know, Hernandez from Venezuela signed with the Oakland Athletics back in 1994. And still going.
Always been a good handler of a pitching staff. Ideal backup catcher. Especially for a guy like Ryu, who has the reputation of being able to throw his fastball around the edges of the strike zone. And Hernandez is one of those guys that's really good about getting outside the ball and pushing it back toward the corner as he makes the catch.
2-1 now. Mark McGuire, the new hitting coach, came over from the Cardinals. Speaking of the Oakland A's back in the day. That was, as we said earlier, Miguel Montero grew up a big A's fan. Loved the Bash brothers. Walked him. Second walk issued by Ian Kennedy. That'll bring up Luis Cruz. He struck out his first time up, and Cruz is off to a tough start this year. 3 for 27. Ian Kennedy, because of the nature of what he throws, fastball plus changeup, hopefully more frequent curveball this year, really has to keep it down to be successful. There's a strike. And that's something Ian has told us over and over. It's always a matter of executing pitches. He felt like in the past, maybe he didn't execute as well as he had before. But he said after the opening day win, especially on the down and away pitches, when he missed, he was missing down. He wasn't missing up. And that'll usually work.
I think that's key for any pitcher, not just Ian Kennedy. Miss in your favor, especially if you're ahead in the count. Got some pitches to play with. Make sure if you miss that zone, you're going to miss farther down, farther away, farther in.
And we talked about that last night, Bob, with Patrick Corbin. He was spiking some sliders, which is okay. It's better than hanging them. Occasionally they'll chase those. You hang one and they can hit it 500 feet. Way out in front there.
That's a filthy changeup from Ian Kennedy. That Vulcan grip. He actually holds the ball between his middle finger and his ring finger. There you see the grip. Very odd delivery for the changeup. It's something that he's kind of experimented with over the years and found something that feels comfortable to him. And it's been a really good pitch in the early going this year.
Started with a changeup grip, then comes fastball. He starts with a changeup grip, right? Because that's the easiest place from which to begin.
Yeah, you start with the toughest grip to get to, and obviously that particular grip right there is not easy to do. That's why he goes ahead, gets the changeup grip. If he's going to throw a changeup, he doesn't have to do anything. If he's going to throw a fastball, it's very easy to make the change to the fastball grip.
Goldschmidt in foul ground catches it in the first base coach's box. 2 down now.
So many times guys that throw split-fingered fastballs will start with the split-finger grip, because when they go into their glove in the stretch position, very easy to slide from that split-finger grip to a regular 2-finger grip on a fastball, slider, curveball, whatever pitch you want to throw. Tougher for a hitter to detect, going from the toughest grip to the easiest grip.
Justin Sellers popped up to first, his first time up. 5 for 27 on the year now. In there at short while Hanley Ramirez recovers from injury, although Hanley just had the cast come off the thumb this week. And he says he has declared himself well ahead of schedule. So do with that what you will.
Players are always way ahead of schedule.
There's Hanley. El Nino, if he comes back to shortstop, is another issue. We'll see. PRADO at third, foul ball. Bob Davidson down there. That was an umpire face. He sort of had that look on his face, like, go ahead, let's argue. What? Just kind of a scowling. What do you want? Of course, Kirk Gibson saw that up close and personal not too long ago. It's one of the classic manager-umpire arguments of all time. There's Patrick Corbin. Gibby and Bob Davidson got nose to nose. And that's one of those rare arguments that lasts so long, but it's so good. When you show it on the highlight shows, you got to show the whole thing. You can't cut away. You can't edit some of it out. It's too good.
Earl Weaver-ish.
Yep.
Earl Weaver was the best. There are some classics on YouTube, and
you are a liar, Earl.
No, you are.
You poked me with a finger. I did not. Mountainside Fitness here at Chase Field. You eat too much, you can just go in there and work it off. The doors are always open. Hello, men. Go in there, sign up. Although more people apparently at the concession stands than now. It's interesting. That's empty. The all-you-can-eat area is probably a little more full.
Standing room only.
But as you can see, that's a brand new fitness center just opened here this year at Chase Field. It's just gorgeous. All brand new stuff in there. Did he go? Yes, he did. Third strikeout for Ian Kennedy, but the Dodgers get on the board here in the fourth. Adrian Gonzalez hits his second home run of the year, and it's 1-0 LA.
It's definitely nice to be back and be part of the team again. You know, I've been watching closely, obviously, and you know, the team's been playing great. So hopefully I can just come in and contribute a little bit.
For an outfielder, that first step is key. Cap is a big part of that. Concerns at all?
No, you know, I've been playing. I played the outfield down in Visalia a little bit, and then last night in Reno, and running the bases is another, you know, hurdle that we had to get over, and felt great doing both.
newly activated outfielder Cody Ross, our Geico quote of the game. And Cody's been very active in the dugout. He is so excited to be back here, and he says, as you just heard in that quote of the game, that he has no concerns about that calf. It's a key, like a hamstring muscle. You got to want to make sure you take care of it early in the season. But Kirk Gibson told him be ready. He most likely will get an appearance tonight. So Cody is activated, and the crazy outfield year for the D-backs continues. Lots of injuries, lots of guys stepping up, guys.
That's right, Brad, and you hate to lose Jason Kubel, Bob, as you get ready to head to Yankee Stadium in that short right field porch. That's just custom made for Jason Kubel's left-hand power bat.
Yeah, and you know Jason Kubel doesn't want to miss games at Yankee Stadium. But as I mentioned earlier, if you're going to suffer injuries, get them out of the way early in the season, come back healthy, and be ready for that stretch run.
Martin Prado flying out to center his first time up. There is Jason Kubel. He is on the DL now, and Cody Ross is off.
A real good chance Cody Ross could see action in the game tonight. The Dodgers have 3 left-handed pitchers available out of the bullpen. And I'm sure there will be a point in this game where Don Mattingly goes to one of those lefties to face one of the tough lefties in the D-backs lineup.
It's been a rotating series of personnel moves in that Diamondbacks outfield this year, but so far so good. 1-2 now to Martin Prado. Adam Eaton was hitting today. He was down there taking batting practice. He looks good, and that's encouraging too. Martin Prado, 8-game hit streak. Fouls that one off. 324 over that span. He's hit safely in 9 of 10 games this year. Do you know that this guy, Martin Prado, is ironically deathly afraid of snakes?
Really?
Hates snakes.
Do his teammates know that? That's the question.
The thing. Don't let them find out, because you know,
man,
could turn into a zoo exhibit down there at his locker or something. Willie Bloomquist on the DL. He's not a big fan of snakes either. Trying to come back from that oblique injury. Good take there by Prado. 3-2 now. One 0 Dodgers. Adrian Gonzalez a solo shot to lead off the 4th. And Prado laces one to Crawford and left.
Hit that ball right on the screws, unfortunately right at Carl Crawford out there in left field. Just had to retreat a few steps toward the warning track, make a running catch. Good at bat by Martin Prado. I'll tell you, as many pitches as you can see against a pitcher that you're unfamiliar with is going to benefit you down the road. Good long at bat that time by Prado.
Well, Goldschmidt singled in his first look at Hyunjin Ryu. Singled back to lead off the 2nd. Now we noticed, Bob, during warm-ups, or I should say between innings, Ryu doesn't really throw the ball. He just kind of lobs it in there. He doesn't pitch it.
Saving bullets. You're required. You're not really required to take your 8 warm-up tosses, but you're entitled to 8 warm-up tosses, and
he just soft tosses it up there
like a beer league pitcher. You know, just lob them in there to the catcher. Just keep the arm loose.
Center field, Kemp didn't get a good look. That might be out of here. It's off the wall. Goldschmidt in with a stand-up double. That was crushed to straightaway center field. Paul Goldschmidt 2 for 2.
The ball was absolutely blasted to center. Kirk Gibson's going to come out and ask if that ball perhaps hit above the yellow stripe out there in center field. Kemp gave up on it rather quickly. Very tough to tell on that angle. Hopefully we have a better angle here. And that ball hits just below the yellow stripe.
John Hirschbeck, the second base umpire. Now they're going to get together and take a look at this. And that's all you can ask for if you're Kirk Gibson. Do me a favor, just take a look at it. So now, as is procedure, 3 umpires will go into the dugout to take a look. The umpires want to maintain a presence on the field, so 1 always stays out there, and 3 go in and take the look, and this is what they're going to look at.
Well, I like the idea that Major League Baseball has started to use instant replay for some calls like this one, clearly below the yellow stripe. Hey, I'd like to see a little speedier process, however. 3 of the umpires leave the field, go up to an area behind that first base dugout where they'll be in contact with the Major League Baseball offices in New York, where somebody's monitoring this game and will tell them, yes, it was a home run, no, it wasn't a home run.
You would think if you're going to have something of an eye in the sky system that you could just have one umpire come off the field and communicate with whoever reviews it, whether it's someone at a central headquarters or here in the ballpark, and do it that way.
And my idea is you put a 5th umpire up here in the press box with a bank of monitors. I mean, we clearly saw very quickly after that play was over that it was not a home run.
And you could also make that guy the official scorer if you wanted to.
There you go.
Well, that's a tough one, though.
But it would, you know, certainly speed up the game, speed up the process a little bit. I think so many people are concerned that instant replay will add to the time of game. I personally feel like it will shorten the time of game.
Double for Paul Goldschmidt. Second double of the game for the D-backs. Their 3rd hit, so a 1-out base runner now for Miguel Montero. 5th double of the year for Goldie. And if you're Kurt Gibson again, that's all you can ask for. Just do me a favor, go in and take a look. Montero struck out his first time up. There's the defense for Miguel Montero, now 9 for 35 on the year.
A few more breaking pitches this time through the lineup from Ryu. First time through was mostly just fastball, changeup, a couple of sliders, but he started to mix in that big, slow curveball. He's changing speeds on his slider. Second time through the lineup.
He will throw that curveball for a strike. And you don't want to see Miggy get in that mode where he gets a little frustrated, and he admits it's just like when he's golfing. He'll get a little frustrated and he'll just start swinging wildly. 130 strikeouts last year. Want to cut down on that. But it seems to be kind of a telltale sign that he's frustrated up there. One and two now.
And like most hitters, Miggy's at his best when he's letting that ball travel, get deep in the hitting zone. He's a really good opposite field hitter, but as you said, when he gets frustrated and feels like he's not doing enough to help the offense, that's when he tries to pull the ball, get the ball in the air to right field.
And when you try to do too much up there, oftentimes you just dig the hole a little deeper. Two and two. Alfredo Marte is on deck. Goldschmidt on second. Just missed a home run here. Montero's worked it back full 3-2 now.
Hey fans, anytime the D-backs score 6 runs or more, Taco Bell is giving away 3 free tacos with the purchase of a large drink between 4 and 6 the following day at participating locations. D-backs percentage has been real good on those tacos.
Yeah, you've been eating like a horse.
Yeah, 5 of the 10 games fans have been able to chow down at Taco Bell.
Three and two, one more time now. Walked him. First walk of the game issued by Hyunjin Ryu.
We gave you the numbers earlier on his tremendous stats pitching over in Korea. Throughout the course of his career, a 3-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio, over 1,200 punch-outs in his 7-year Korean career.
Led the league in strikeouts 5 times. 98 and 52 with a 2.80 ERA in 190 career games in the KBO, that is Korea's Major Baseball League. Alfredo Marte popped up to short his first time up. Good view from high above here at Chase Field. Put your feet up, relax, enjoy the night. watching some Diamondbacks baseball. Marte may hit it up there. Instead, he goes to right down the line. Gonzalez giving chase. It's out of play. Don Mattingly said the first time he ever saw Ryu pitch, it was at spring training camp. And of course, he'd heard a lot about him, read about the money, the posting fee, the whole thing. Goes out and looks at him, and Mattingly was asked, well, you know, who's he remind you of? And Mattingly said Sid Fernandez.
I'd say that's accurate when you're talking just about the stuff. Sid Fernandez had a very deceptive delivery. Extremely hard to pick up the ball. He was one of those guys that threw 88 to 91. But you talk to hitters after an at-bat, they'd say it looks like he's throwing 110 miles an hour. Just couldn't pick the ball up well at all.
Marte's taking his cuts, and as we've said, we just kind of feel like it's coming. The big shot. What does it mean to look hitterish?
Well, for a hitter, everything's perfect. Your timing is good. The front foot's down. You're seeing the ball, letting it get deep in the hitting zone, putting a nice quick swing on it. Everything seems to be in the hitter's favor when he's hitterish.
Gives it a ride to left center. Crawford calls off Kemp. 2 down.
As you can see from that little highlight we showed you, Ryu does a nice job of hiding the ball as well. Maybe why he's able to get away with that 90-mile-per-hour fastball. That's such an important part of pitching. You'll hear some hitters talk about a guy that throws in the high 90s, but they see the ball really well out of his hand, and guys like that usually end up giving up a lot of hits.
Josh Wilson now. This is the second time through the order for Ryu. So the Diamondbacks, after they go through here, will have had 2 looks at Ryu.
Just take one more look at the delivery from the Dodger left-hander. You don't really see the ball until that front foot comes down. He rotates and drives toward home plate. Not much of a look for the Diamondbacks hitters.
Josh Wilson struck out back in the second. One on one. Kirk Gibson, if you missed it, said that Aaron Hill is available to pinch hit today, but they want to make sure that inflammation in the hand goes all the way down and doesn't flare up again. So Aaron was not in the lineup today. Josh Wilson playing second base for the second day in a row. 2-1 now.
And many times a determining factor as to how quickly you get a guy back on the field is how's the team playing without him. Now, certainly the Diamondbacks would much prefer to have Aaron Hill in the lineup, but as long as they're playing good baseball, Josh Wilson's playing outstanding defense, putting together some good at bats. It gives you the luxury of letting Aaron Hill take an extra day or 2 to heal.
3-1 now. Yeah, Josh had a base hit. He went 1 for 3 last night and made some spectacular plays at second base. We showed you the double play that ended the game last night with his double play partner there, Cliff Pennington, on deck. And if Josh goes 1 for 3 every night and plays solid defense, that's going to work. 3-1 now. 78.
That's the Ryu changeup we mentioned. That's his best secondary pitch. Not afraid to throw it in any count. 3-1, obviously a very good hitter's count. Josh Wilson expecting fastball. Ryu pulls the string.
Struck him out. That ends the inning. 7 strikeouts now for Hyunjin Ryu. His parents and family in the house here. Dodgers lead the D-backs 1-0 through 4.
Cool play of the game, Jen and Dustin today. I was down there, Bob, watching the wedding. We had a dugout wedding this afternoon.
How about that? Were you throwing rice?
I was taking pictures. I was tweeting them out. You can see the pictures I took at the ceremony. Frankly, I teared up a little bit.
This is the true definition of a multi-purpose stadium.
There, some of the D-backs were warming up. Round of applause. Baxter got involved, kissed the wrong member of the party, but nothing new with him. And they're in the suite enjoying the game. There are Jen and Dustin, the whole wedding party out there. That's great. You have the wedding on top of the D-backs dugout before the game. Hello, everybody. And then you go up to the suite. You sit back up there with your new bride, watch the game, a little D-backs baseball. Ryu leads off the fifth here, 1-0 Dodgers. Adrian Gonzalez's solo shot to lead off the fourth, the only run of the game so far. The Dodgers have out-hit the Diamondbacks 4-3. Ryu had his first major league hit last time up, a double over the head of Gerardo Parra in right field.
Hey, you see the little elbow guard for Ryu on that throwing arm, the left arm, which is the lead arm since he's a right-handed hitter, and Diamondbacks fans certainly are well aware of the big unit left-handed pitcher that hit right-handed.
Ryu did not have a major league hit before today, but now he's 2 for 2. Halfway to a cycle.
He now has the all-time highest batting average in the history of Major League Baseball. 2 for 2. Man, he kind of fooled us with those first couple swings in his first at bat. Drove that ball over the head of Gerardo Parra in right field for a double, and smokes that one through the left side of the infield for a single.
You see his family up there behind the Dodger dugout, Don Mattingly.
It's not that easy.
Well, he's making it look easy. He's got 7 strikeouts, and he's 2 for 2 at the plate with a double and a single. Not a bad day here. Top of the order now. Here's Carl Crawford. Crawford 1 for 2. Single back in the third. Crawford showed up for work this spring every day at 5:30 in the morning and said he really wanted to prove he was ready to be Don Mattingly's leadoff man, despite the fact he spent much of his career hitting in the 2-hole. The Dodgers have had a need in the leadoff spot. Crawford trying to fill it. LA next to last in the league last season, an on-base percentage from the leadoff man at just .281. Better only than the Reds. And Crawford said this spring, leading off for the Los Angeles Dodgers is a big gig. That's what I want. And he has been absolutely superb so far this year. 2-1.
Well, slow start notwithstanding, you know that Matt Kemp and Adrian Gonzalez and Andre Ethier, those run producers in the middle of the lineup, are going to do some damage this year. If they have a legitimate leadoff hitter that can get on base, it's going to lead to a lot of runs for the Dodgers this summer.
Crawford was sidelined for most of March with the nerve irritation in his elbow, a rehab setback after Tommy John, which was performed by Dr. Andrews last August. Dodgers said Crawford's nerve irritation, not uncommon, and they weren't overly concerned, and it's worked out just fine. Laces one down the right field line, foul. The good news on Crawford was when they looked at the elbow, there was no ligament damage, just tightness and soreness from overworking. The repaired ligament was not involved. And in fact, during the first week of the season, the Dodgers coaches were all, frankly, a little surprised at how much zip Crawford was putting on his throws, more than was expected from someone less than a year off Tommy John. Right back to Kennedy. To second for 1. Crawford beats it out.
A little tapper back to the mound. Kennedy had to turn to his right, which didn't allow him to get much on that throw to second base, and Carl Crawford has pretty good speed motoring down that first baseline. Very close anyway.
The throw was high. It looked like Cliff Pennington really couldn't get set and quickly deliver a quick throw to first base. He did have to reach up there over the bag. That seemed to slow it just enough for Crawford to get there. So 1 out, 1 on first now, and here is Skip Schumacher. He's 0 for 2. Center field. Pollock. It's over the head of Marte now. Crawford flying around third. He'll score. Here's the relay from the Diamondbacks. 2-0 LA.
They were not going to catch Carl Crawford on that one.
I mentioned Schumacher in the lineup tonight because of his career numbers against Ian Kennedy. Comes up with a big blow here. One hops the fence in left field. Pretty good relay by the Diamondbacks. Just too much speed on the part of Carl Crawford. No chance to get him at the plate.
So Schumacher 1 for 3 in RBI double, and here's Matt Kemp. He has twice flied out to right. A run in the 4th and now one in the 5th here for LA. Matt Kemp had what turned out to be a significant surgery back in early October to repair a torn labrum and rotator cuff in that left shoulder. It was supposed to be just a cleanup, but the damage Kemp suffered when he smashed into the center field wall at Coors Field last August was discovered to be more extensive than was first thought. Kemp was hitting .337 at the time of the injury. He was told to have surgery. Instead, he tried to play through it. Hit just .214 and 112 at bats after the collision with a wall in Denver. Said he just couldn't shut it down despite what the doctors were telling him. Didn't want to just watch. So he had to gut it out there, and then had a long off season. The shoulder that was repaired is the left shoulder. That's the lead shoulder in Kemp's batting stance. And he did admit some uncertainty about his health when camp began this year. Confessed to being a little tentative up there when swinging the bat. And he said it was Adrian Gonzalez who eventually went up to him and said, "Look, man, you just got to cut it loose. Trust the doctors. They fixed it. Now you got to swing away here." 2-1 now. Kennedy steps off. Gonzalez said, you know, you did your rehab. You just got to go out there and let it go. And Gonzalez knows he had the same procedure 2 years ago. In the dirt, it gets through Montero, and Schumacher goes to third.
Mickey had some issues last night with the David Hernandez fastballs hitting in the dirt out in front of home plate. That's a straight changeup from Ian Kennedy. Miguel couldn't immediately find it. The home plate umpire Jim Reynolds was in his line of sight to where that baseball ended up. Schumacher busting it between second and third, takes a big turn. Finally, Miguel finds the ball back near the backstop and holds the Dodger at third base.
Infield is in on the edge of the grass now. They rule it a wild pitch. There's a shot of the infield. Struck him out. 2 down. Fourth strikeout for Ian Kennedy. Matt Kemp is 0 for 3.
We talked last night about the Patrick Corbin slider giving the illusion of a strike. The same thing can be said for the Ian Kennedy changeup. When he throws it around the bottom of the strike zone, in a hitter's eyes, it looks like it's going to be a strike. And that late movement, the off speed, takes the pitch down low out of the zone, that time right at the bottom of the zone for the swinging strike.
Montero and Kennedy now will try and come up with some solution for Adrian Gonzalez. Gonzalez singled back in the second and lined a home run to right to lead off the fourth. He's 2 for 2 and now 14 for 38 on the year. Schumacher at third with 2 outs, a run here, in the 5th. 1-0.
We're trailing by 2 runs in the ballgame. You really have to pick your battles here. I've talked about the Diamondbacks getting Adrian Gonzalez up there with nobody on base. This time with the runner at third, I would expect Kennedy and Miguel Montero to pitch him extremely careful.
This was the 4th.
Towering home run to right field just over the 376 mark.
And he's ahead here 2-0. Behind 3-0 here, would you just put him on and work to ETHIER?
Yeah, I would think so, and you see that happen an awful lot. You try to get a guy to chase early in the sequence. Once you fall behind in the count, it becomes even more dangerous to pitch to him. So the Diamondbacks are going to go ahead and issue ball 4, send him on down to first base.
So runners in the corners now with 2 outs. And Ian Kennedy will work to Andre Ethier.
Right fielder Andre Ethier.
The Dodger offense has essentially been the 2 runners, Carl Crawford and Adrian Gonzalez. The guys hitting first and fourth in the order tonight. The rest of the team is slumped.
Yeah, especially that always important runners in scoring position stat. The rest of the team hitting under 100 in those situations.
Ethier has walked and struck out. Oh, 0-1. Last year, Andre Ethier led the National League by hitting .325 against right-hand pitchers. 16 of his 20 home runs came against righties. Base hit to right. Schumacher scores. 3-0 Dodgers. Third hit of the inning against Ian Kennedy here in the 5th.
The changeup down low to a good low ball hitter. Ethier stays on this one, finds a hole in the right side of the infield. You know, much like when the Pirates came to town and they had been struggling mightily to get base hits and score runs. This is the major leagues. These guys are very accomplished players, very accomplished hitters, and you know at some point the light bulb is going to go on. Hopefully Ian Kennedy has the dimmer out there on the mound.
Hernandez to short. Pennington on the grass goes the short way, and they're out of the inning. But the Dodgers get 3 hits, a couple of runs. 3-0 D-backs trail as we head to the bottom of the 5th. Diamondbacks baseball is brought to you in part by CenturyLink, your link to what's next, and by Jack in the Box. The Chipotle Chicken Club Combo is back for a limited time at Jack in the Box. Try one today with fries and a drink for just $4.99 plus tax. FoxSportsArizona.com has all your online local sports coverage you can't find anywhere else. Exclusive coverage of the D-backs along with a report on tomorrow's big tribute to Joe Garagiola Sr. Content and coverage of Coyotes, Suns, Cardinals, so much more. FoxSportsArizona.com. Big day here tomorrow as we honor Joe Garagiola. Wishing the best in his retirement as we broadcast from the Joe Garagiola booth here at Chase Field. And that will be quite an honor. Joe is going to come into a couple of innings, give BB a break, go down and get a snow cone, whatever you want. You're going to hit some food stand, I know that.
No, I'm going to stay right here and listen to Joe. I'll tell you what, Joe had a huge effect on a lot of people's career. A lot of us that went from playing to the booth, listening to Joe growing up, and then as a catcher in the big leagues, when Joe would come to do the game of the week, he would always go to the catchers to try to get information on the pitching staff and how are you guys been throwing, who's healthy, who's not healthy, and I learned an awful lot from Joe.
And I have a laptop that goes everywhere with me, and on the iTunes, I love to watch old games. I'm an old games junkie. I'll watch old games. Joe probably didn't like that I call them old games, but 70s and like that. I got about a dozen great Joe Garagiola, Tony Kubek games from the game of the week, postseason games, Pennington high in the air. That's going to get out of play.
Yeah, Steve, you're probably a little too young for this too, but those of us of a certain age, back in the day, the game of the week was it.
No, believe me, when I was a kid, we had the console TV that was roughly the size of a Buick, and it was in the living room, and you sat on the floor, and when that game came on once a week, every Sunday, because it was the only time you could watch a game other than your local team. And then growing up in Boston, we watched the Red Sox on WSBK Channel 38. With Dick Stockton and Ken Harrelson were doing the games back then. But when you had the Saturday game with Joe and Tony, that was a huge deal.
That was a big deal.
You'd watch This Week in Baseball, then you'd watch the Sunday game with Joe G. Base hit for Pennington. He's 1 for 2. Leadoff man on here in the 5th.
Now this D-backs bunch has been a very resilient group through the early going this season, down 3-0 in the game to the Dodgers. No easy task, but a task I'm sure the Diamondbacks are looking forward to the challenge here the rest of the way tonight.
Now keep in mind, Kirk Gibson has told us over and over, Ian Kennedy is by far the best bunter they have on the pitching staff, and Pennington with a leadoff single. Kennedy shows bunt, pulls back, and now Cliff can go to second. He gets away from Hernandez and rolls toward the Diamondback dugout.
Like a fastball in the dirt. I mentioned in that last half inning, Miggy had some issues last night with the David Hernandez fastball in the dirt. I talked to Glenn Sherlock, the Cubs bullpen coach and catching instructor, rather the Diamondbacks bullpen coach, catching instructor, and about that very play. The catchers never anticipate that fastball in the dirt. You can never quickly enough get in a good blocking position. You just have to get lucky sometimes.
Bunted toward third. Ryu goes to first. Pennington to third. 1 away.
Center fielder, A.J. Pollock.
Here's A.J. Pollock. Doubled his last time up. He's 1 for 2. Sacrifice 1 to 3. Chance for A.J. to get the Diamondbacks on the board here. There's the defense versus Arizona's leadoff hitter. A terrific opening day, 3 for 4 against the Cardinals. Then didn't get a hit over his next 5 games. Got the start in center field here Wednesday afternoon against the Pirates. Made a great running diving catch in the first inning. And then went double homer to finish 3 for 5 for RBI. Swing and a miss, 1-1. And what made AJ's performance Wednesday so interesting was Kirk Gibson not only started him in center field, but Gibby put Pollock second in the batting order, despite the fact he'd gone hitless since opening day. And Gibby said it was just a hunch. But hitting Pollock second there sure paid off, and now he's leading off here for the second night in a row. AJ says he just tries to do a little bit of everything out there every single day, no matter what. Should be able to bring something to the table, whether it's defense, hitting, base running. Just don't be quiet for the whole game. Broken bat. This will get a run in. Pennington scores 3-1.
So A.J. Pollock making a lot of noise. He's got a double and an RBI.
If guys on that plate, I'm sure A.J. would like to get a base hit in this situation, but a ground ball to either middle infielder was an easy run. Pennington trots home with the D-backs' first run of the ball game.
And there's where that wild pitch, Bob, is so big. You're able to get Pennington to third with one out, and that help brings in the run. Gerardo Parra 0 for 2. Struck out his last time up. Left field, Crawford. Back it up at the wall, and he makes the catch into the wall. Carl Crawford. And that ends the inning. But the Diamondbacks get a run in. They almost had more. Crawford an adventure out there in left, but he's there in time. 3-1 through 5. Fun times at the Ram Trucks pool. Great place to watch a game. Bob and I were out there earlier this week where one of us went into the pool. RamTrucks.com pool area. We've mentioned what a great view it is out there. You really do get the perspective of playing the outfield, because with that wall, you're not too far high off the same level as the playing field. And when the ball comes at you out there, you really do feel like you're playing right or center field. There it is. You can sit in the hot tub back there. You can see the game from the hot tub. Pool's in there as well. Got some tables and chairs out there. Great area to hang out in all night. Luis Cruz is 0 for 2.
And our pool game notwithstanding, you are allowed to have food out there.
Yeah, you would. It's funny because we couldn't find any food when we were out there. Interesting. High in the air, Pennington backing up. Marte coming in. Trolls him off on away. Cruz 0 for 3. He's now 3 for 29 on the year.
Hey, while we have a moment, we'd like to send get well wishes to Travis Geyer, the son of our Vice President of Broadcasting, Scott Geyer. He's a ball player at Horizon High School here locally and unfortunately suffered an injury, cutting his season short. Travis, hope you're doing well out there.
Scott is very proud of his boys. Loves to show you pictures of them playing ball. Great athletes. Justin Sellers 0 for 2, the shortstop. One and one now. Sellers holding down the position until Hanley Ramirez comes back from that thumb injury.
And we were talking about it a little bit last night. It'd be interesting to see what the Dodgers do defensively when Hanley Ramirez returns. He had lost a step or 2 or 5 or 6 at shortstop.
Well, the idea is that when Hanley does come back, he could go to third and Cruz could move to short full time. That's an option. Of course, Ramirez suffered a torn ligament in his right thumb playing third base in the World Baseball Classic. Had surgery March 21st, and as we mentioned earlier, Hanley this week declared himself a couple of weeks ahead of schedule. He was expected to be out 8 weeks, but he probably took some whirlpools or saunas in there, healing up that thumb. The cast just came off, by the way, on the thumb. Don Mattingly said he still hasn't got a date for Hanley's return, but Mattingly said, you know what, I haven't asked either, so I think he's taking it day by day. In the meantime, Justin Sellers is holding down the fort.
Of course, last year's opening day shortstop for the Dodgers was the son of former Major League pitcher Tom Flash Gordon, a young man by the name of D. Gordon. He's only 24 years old, but had a rough season last year. Hit .228, found his way back to the minor leagues this year.
Well, he got hurt, and then by the time he came back, they had acquired Hanley Ramirez. And so when he did come back, there was really no spot for him. He finished out the season in the minor leagues, D. Gordon, and then was up here in September, but just watched the whole month, essentially.
Yeah, D. Gordon is a guy that does profile well in that leadoff spot. You know, should he get fully healthy again, work his way back into the good graces of the organization, he's a guy that they could plug in at shortstop and the leadoff spot in the lineup.
Well, the problem there is then you either have to sit Hanley or sit Cruz, and Cruz was tremendous for him down the stretch last year. Really sort of held that left side of the infield together. But as far as Gordon, the Dodgers said they didn't want to interrupt his development in the minor leagues and put him back out there up here for a short period of time, or only a part of the time. Sellers to short, Pennington long throw. They got him at first. James Hoy says he's out. Dodger dugout on the top step, but no argument from Don Mattingly. Justin Sellers voicing his displeasure.
I'll tell you what, I don't know if there's a shortstop in the game that's playing better defense right now than Cliff Pennington. He has made every play, every direction. Looks like the D-backs may have gotten a break on that one, but Cliff Pennington gets rewarded for that outstanding backhanded play and throw all the way across the diamond.
Here's Ryu's 2 for 2, his first 2 major league hits. Boy, he has been just sensational at shortstop. He's made every play. He's 3 for 3. Parra thought about the play at first, but Goldie wasn't to the bag in time. And the family watching Hyunjin Ryu get his first 3 major league hits. 2 singles and a double. Watch Parra. Parra thinks he's got to play at first here, but then he sees Goldie wasn't quite ready to receive the throw, and he wisely decided not to throw it in there. So 3 for 3.
Ryu still shaking out that right hand. Got some B's on that one. He struck the first 2 base hits really well, especially that double back in the third, but now when he may have hit out toward the end of the bat a little bit, got some B's in his hands.
And the amazing thing is now, yeah, that hurt. He did not hit in the KBO, the Korean League. They have the DH there, so he's never hit. Today he's 3 for 3. Montero keeps it in front. Carl Crawford single back in the third. It's not that cold out, is it?
Well, that's a pitcher for you.
I know, but Crawford hitting .405 on the year. Right field, Crawford shoots it, fair ball, it's down the right field line. Rio into third, they'll stop him there. Stand up double for Carl Crawford.
Once again in this game, Ryu and Crawford get back-to-back hits.
That's amazing. This Dodger offense had not made much noise in the early going this season until their starting pitcher tonight got them going with that double back in the third inning. They've been swinging the bat much more aggressively, getting the barrel on the ball a lot more often than they had through the first 9 games this season.
Conference at the mound. Matt Reynolds, the left-hander, warming up with Ian Kennedy now at 100 pitches on the afternoon. And you've got Schumacher coming up, followed by Kemp. Gonzalez is the lefty, and Reynolds is up in the bullpen. Hyunjin Ryu doing all the damage here offensively, with the exception of the Gonzalez home run. And is he Babe Ruth? 3 for 3.
Wah, wah. He's making like Babe Ruth here tonight.
Schumacher had an RBI double his last time up. Skip Schumacher 1 for 3, 33 years old, born in Torrance, California, went to UC Santa Barbara. 5th round pick of the Cardinals back in 2001. 2-0. First base is open. The slumping Matt Kemp is on deck. Kemp is 0 for 3 today. 2-0 now to Skip Schumacher. 2-1. Schumacher, member of the Cardinals 2011 World Series champs. He was 2 for 11 in that series. They beat the Texas Rangers in 7. Spent his entire 8-year big league career with the Cardinals. Traded to the Dodgers last December for minor league infielder Jake Lemmerman. There's Kemp on deck, 0 for 3. He struck out his last time up. 2-2 now. Ryu on third, Crawford the runner at second. Ball 4. They're loaded for Matt Kemp.
Center fielder, Kemp.
I never thought I'd say this, but it certainly looked like Ian Kennedy and Miguel Montero were pitching around Schumacher to get at Matt Kemp.
Well, the way Kemp is going, I mean, he's 7 for 40 this season as he steps in here. 7 for 40. Career with the bases loaded. He's got 6 grand slams, and he has not been driving in runs. He's been stranding runners left and right, and he's said it's something he's just got to stop. Swing and a miss, 0-1.
Well, that's a great pitch to throw to an aggressive hitter in a bases loaded situation, especially a guy that has a history of being a big time run producer and is struggling in the early going. That first pitch change up, kept probably looking for a heater way out in front.
Base hit into left. Ryu will score. They'll wave Crawford. 2-run single for Matt Kemp. Now with 4 RBIs on the year. 5-1 Dodgers. Kirk Gibson on his way to go get Ian Kennedy. Matt Reynolds is coming in. He'll work to the left-hander Adrian Gonzalez. We'll take a break. 5-1 Dodgers lead the Diamondbacks here in the 6th. Matt Reynolds on for the Diamondbacks here. Got to wax the truck. Nice and shiny up by the RamTrucks.com pool area. That's what they do while on your car, right? While we're up here.
Yeah,
you
right.
get down there every day. Someone's worked it over. Matt Reynolds, and boy, has he been outstanding this year. 2 runs in the inning for the Dodgers. 2 on and 2 out for Gonzalez. He is 2 for 2. Singled in the 2nd, homered to lead off the 4th, and was intentionally walked back in the 5th. Stepping in here at 368. Right field, Parra. That drops in front. Run scores. 6-1 Dodgers. Second RBI of the game for Adrian Gonzalez. Fourth hit in the inning.
2 quick outs to start this inning, and then Ryu got the offense jump started with his 3rd hit of the game. And
yeah, that's right, Bob. It started off with 2 outs and the pitcher up here. Then it went single, double, walk, single, single. And now ETHIER's up. Kemp to second, Gonzalez at first. ETHIER had an RBI single back in the 5th. Eleven hits for LA, 4 for Arizona. The line on Ian Kennedy. He's still responsible for Kemp out there on the bases. It was hard to see this one coming, Bob, because as we mentioned at the top of the game, Ian's numbers career against the Dodgers outstanding. He's flat out dominated LA the last couple of years. But it's interesting that, you know, they've seen a lot of him, and the Diamondbacks obviously have never seen Ryu.
yeah, Ian just wasn't consistently hitting his spots with his fastball. His changeup at times was very good tonight. At other times, couldn't seem to find the zone with that one either. And the really surprising thing was the 4 walks. One of those intentional, but that's something Ian Kennedy rarely does. Put himself in trouble with the base on balls.
Reynolds strikes out ETHIER, and the Dodgers strand 2 here. But they get 3 runs here in the 6th. We'll go bottom 6 here at Chase Field. Diamondbacks trail LA 6-1. Kennedy's night. The Dodgers lead the Diamondbacks 6-1. Time to answer our AT&T Twitter poll question. What's better than beating LA? Easy answer here. This was a gimme. It's like writing your name on the SATs. Nothing. 87%. Puppy dogs are shut out. Mitch Riggin, that's a live shot from inside our truck. A lot going on in there. Prado, Goldschmidt, Montero 3, 4, and 5 here in the Arizona 6th. D-backs have been out hit 11-4. Dodgers have stranded 8, but they still lead here 6-1. Hyunjin Ryu has been outstanding for LA. He's got 7 strikeouts, and he's 3 for 3 at the plate. Babe Ruth, he was a pitcher too. Prado flied out to center in the 1st and lined out to left in the 4th. Now 14 for 48 on the year. Strike, says Jim Reynolds. 1-2.
It was kind of odd there. It looked like Ryu had started his windup out there on the mound while Hernandez was still giving signs behind home plate.
Just throw it.
Yeah, just flash slider very late, and Ryu rolled it up there for a called strike. Ryu was looking in, getting his sign from Ramon Hernandez. He starts his delivery. There, 3. Throw me a slider. In mid windup, still able to throw it for a strike.
Strikes him out looking. 8th strikeout for Hyunjin Ryu, and Martin Prado does not like Jim Reynolds' strike zone.
Martin Prado has as good a knowledge of the strike zone as any hitter in the National League. And for him to argue that long with Jim Reynolds, you can be pretty sure that ball was off the plate. We'll get a look on our Fox tracks. Yep. A little cutting action inside. May have started on the corner, but ended up off the plate inside, and Martin Prado let Jim Reynolds know about it.
Paul Goldschmidt has been the offensive hero so far. 2 for 2, a single in the 2nd, a double in the 4th. It just missed a home run. It was almost right on the line in straightaway center field over the 407 mark out there. Goldie steps in here, 350 on the year. 0-2 now. Great crowd here tonight, 37,214. Chopper is foul. But as we learned yesterday, not foul until somebody touches it.
Hey fans, play Kachinko by signing up at one of the 16 interactive kiosks right here at Chase Field during any Arizona Diamondbacks regular season home game.
Cody loosening up. We got a lefty out there, obviously. Cody just activated today. If you just missed it, back from that calf strain. Jason Kubel goes on the DL with a quad injury suffered when he scored from second on that wild pitch in Milwaukee. 1-2 now. One more with the Dodgers back here tomorrow afternoon. Then it's a 9-game road trip. Starts out at Yankee Stadium on Tuesday, then to Colorado, then to San Francisco. Struck him out. 9 strikeouts for Hyunjin Ryu, matching Kershaw's total last night.
Well, if the Martin PRADO at bat wasn't enough to convince you, this one is. Jim Reynolds calling pitches off the inside part of the plate. That slider ends up at least a couple 3 inches off of the inside corner, but Ryu gets the call.
Miguel Montero has struck out and walked 0 for 1. Yeah, that wasn't even close. .95 pitches now. 60 for strikes. Josh Coleminter warming up in the Arizona bullpen. We saw Matt Reynolds in the 6th inning. So down 6-1. Coleminter may save the bullpen a few innings here. And Ramon Hernandez calls time. .2-0 now. There's his strike, 2-1. We saw Cody Ross in the dugout earlier. He's activated. Jason Kubel on the DL. There's Adam Eaton, who was hitting in the batting cage today, coming off the elbow injury. And he's got ants in his pants down there. He can't sit still. 2-2 now. Adam was telling me that some of the boys have been doing a little rookie hazing, Bob. And he went out into his car the other day, started up the car, turned on the air conditioning, and then poof, baby powder came flying out. Another time went out to his car and it wasn't where he had parked it. Somebody had moved it for him. Ground ball to shortstop Sellers. Diamondbacks facing a little rookie hazing of their own here. Hyunjin Ryu has been outstanding. He's got 9 strikeouts and 3 hits. D-backs trailed the Dodgers 6-1. the official power partner of the Diamondbacks. MLB.com at bat, the #1 source for live baseball everywhere you go. Available for iPhone, iPad, Android, BlackBerry 10. At Bat delivers D-backs baseball with live audio, pitch tracking, stats, news, highlights, and more. You can text At Bat to 31826 or visit dbacks.com for details. Hyunjin Ryu, Babe Ruth, 9 strikeouts. He's 3 for 3 at the plate, and he has been a one-man wrecking crew here today. And he has looked outstanding with a little help from Jim Reynolds behind the plate. New pitcher on the mound for the D-backs is Josh Colmenter.
4th appearance of the season for the D-backs right-hander. Been pretty good so far this year, especially that 5-inning outing to end the 16-inning, 5-hour and 32-minute ball game.
Pretty good. Hernandez, Cruz, and Sellers 6, 7, and 8 here in the LA 7th. Goldschmidt chasing it down in foul ground, out of play. Hernandez 0 for 2. Just acquired from the Rockies in a trade for Aaron Harang. Second base, Josh Wilson takes a big hop, one away. Brad Steinke is downstairs. Brad.
Yeah, Bob, as a former catcher, here's a lineup you would appreciate. A few years back in Venezuelan winter ball, Miguel Montero had teammates of Ramon Hernandez, Yorbit Torrealba, and also a former D-backs catcher, Henry Blanco. There was so much talent on that team. The rest of the teams were crying foul, and they wanted to break them up. But at times, Henry would play third base, and Ramon would play first base. And, boy, some really good talent behind the plate coming out of Venezuela.
I always thought Henry Blanco had the best nickname in baseball.
Hank White.
I mean, that's just the simplicity of that was fantastic.
Well, you know my feeling about catchers. You can't get enough of them on the field.
Or in the booth.
That too.
1-1. Willie Eves next to Jason Kubel, who just went on the DL this afternoon. Will's wife was out there for the March of Dimes walk this morning. All the D-backs players' wives are out there doing a great job for the March of Dimes. Did a 3-mile walk. My wife Cindy was out there participating early in the morning. They got up. 1-2 now. Straight up in the air. Goldie in the coach's box. 2 down. These were the Diamondbacks ladies this morning out there doing their walk. There's my lovely wife on the far left. Lisa Bloomquist and everybody out there did a tremendous job raising money and awareness for March of Dimes and healthy babies.
Boy, what a great day for it. Yeah, this is the way every baseball game ought to be played under these conditions. Just perfect. I don't know if you had a chance to catch any of that Cubs-Giants game this afternoon on Fox Network.
Oh, they've had some.
Man,
have they had some weather at Wrigley Field or what? Woo. Holy moly! It's like Wuthering Heights every time you look around. I mean, this guy's wearing ski masks and it's rainy and foggy and windy, and it makes you grateful to live here in the Valley of the Sun.
Absolutely.
We have got it made here this time of year. Sellers is 0 for 3. Struck out back in the 4th. 5 for 29 in the year.
Well, you'd love to get Sellers to give yourself the option of walking Ryu.
We're not there, are we? Are we really there?
Maybe not quite.
He's 3 for 3. Left field, Marte drops in for a base hit. First hit of the game for Justin Sellers. The 8 and 9 hitters in the Dodger lineup are now 4 for 7, with Ryu stepping up. First 3-hit game by a Dodger pitcher since Randy Wolf went 3 for 4 against the Diamondbacks here at Chase Field. That's coincidence, not irony. Now that's the changeup. Throw to first, and they got him. Sellers picked off. Miguel Montero doing the little things. Justin Sellers taking too big a lead. And they got him. That ends the top of the 7th. D-backs trail 6-1. Get a Wade Miley Garden Gnome courtesy of Sanderson Ford. Saturday, April 27th, D-backs and Rockies 5:10 start. Be sure to come early and enjoy the Outdoor Night Street Festival. Learn how to fish, shoot a bow and arrow, and participate in other outdoor activities right outside Chase Field here. You can call 602-462-4600 or log on to dbacks.com/outdoors. There is Wade Miley. And here with Joe Borowski now is the Wade Miley Garden Gnome. I took this into the pool the other night.
And it made it back here safely.
We both made it out alive. Although we're barely surviving Ryu here, Joe. What do you see?
I'll tell you what, for the first time seeing him, he definitely knows how to pitch, that's for sure. He can throw all 3 of his pitches for strikes. Just moves the ball in and out. And like you were saying earlier, Bob, he hides it long enough where you can't get a good look at it until it's already up on you.
Yeah, just watching the reaction of some of the Diamondbacks hitters, they seem to be caught by surprise on occasion by a 90-mile-an-hour fastball in the strike zone. That tells you he's hiding the ball well.
Marte, Wilson, Pennington here. Alfredo Marte is 0 for 2. Only 4 hits for the Diamondbacks so far.
He might have a career as a hitter after pitching's done.
And the funny thing is, as we mentioned, they have a DH in the Korean League, so it's not like he's got a ton of experience up there.
I don't know if it's just him swinging the bat well, or we just found ways to hit his bat.
Marte. Cruz at third, no play.
Oh, hit like a bullet down to Luis Cruz at third base. Goes to his backhand side. Hits off the heel of the glove. Fortunately for Marte, rolls far enough away. He's able to leg it out. Good start to the inning. They're going to give him an infield hit. I'll tell you what, there was another Dodger lefty that used to be able to swing the bat pretty good. Just a few booths down from us doing the Spanish telecast, or broadcast rather, of the Dodgers. Fernando Valenzuela. Boy, he was a great athlete. Didn't look like it, but he could do everything well. Maybe Freddie's been working with Ryu on his batting stroke a little bit.
And I know you might disagree, Bob, because all position players do, but we do know the best athletes out there are the pitchers.
Here we go.
Well, you have to throw, you have to field your position, you have to hit a little bit.
You can't just stand, sit back there basically and have the ball thrown to you.
The biggest problem starting pitchers have in spring training is getting tee times.
He's right about that, actually. Over 2.
Get your throwing in, do a little bit of running, and boo, right to the golf course.
Yeah, the best golfers on the team are always the starting pitchers.
Absolutely.
I mean, Miguel Montero told me yesterday he loves golf, can't get enough, but hey, during the season I can't play, I don't have time. Starting pitchers, you throwing today? No, you? Okay, what time's tee time? Base hit in the left. Josh Wilson back-to-back singles to lead off the D-backs 7th here. Hyunjin Ryu is our APS Energy All-Star. He's got 9 strikeouts and he's 3 for 3 at the plate. His first 3 career hits.
Well, he's a force to be reckoned with. I mean, I think ultimately the Diamondbacks pitching staff will figure out a way to get him out, but it's up to the Diamondbacks hitters to figure out a way to break through against this left-hander.
And Bob, let me ask you, Bob, is it tough when you've never seen a pitcher as a hitter, the first time seeing him, especially someone who knows what he's doing out on the mound? I got to figure that's the toughest part for a position player.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they didn't have any idea of his arm angle, the movement on his pitches. You can watch video, you can read the scouting reports, but until you actually get in that batter's box and see it for yourself, yeah, it's a great unknown.
Well, this is now the 3rd time through the order here. So every batter now that Pennington's in there has now seen Ryu 3 times, and the only guys to get base hits in their 3rd ABs against Ryu are Marte and Wilson. Pennington singled his last time up. And now here's Don Mattingly. He'll double switch. A conversation with Jim Reynolds now. 107 pitches. This could be it for Ryu. Cody Ross has a bat. He was on deck. But now that the left-hander may be coming out of the game, we'll see if that is still the case. Mattingly to the mound now. Ross back in the dugout, and now he's the right-hand hitter. Hinsky, the left-hand hitter, comes out, and Ryu exits. What a night for him. His family on their feet here at Chase Field. He's got 9 strikeouts and 3 base hits. He leads with a 6-1 lead. Leaves with 2 on here in the 7th, responsible for 2 base runners, 9 strikeouts, 1 earned on 6 hits and 6. He walked 1. Marte led off the 7th with a single. Josh Wilson singled, and now in to face Cliff Pennington is Ronald Belisario.
A lot of fastballs from Belisario. Also throws a slider and a splitter, but he loves his heater.
First pitch swinging, foul ground. Belisario last pitched Thursday in San Diego.
Actually pitched Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Had yesterday off. See if the 3 days in a row has any effect on him here after 1 off day.
He's a ground ball pitcher. Juan Uribe is in now to play third base as Don Mattingly double switches here. Since 2009, Belisario 9th highest ground ball percentage among major league relievers. Oh, 0-2.
And you can see why he gets those ground balls right there. He gets a good late sink to his fastball.
Eric Hinsky is on deck. He'll hit for the pitcher. There's a shot from behind home plate here at Chase Field. At batter's eyes, why so many hitters love this ballpark. Struck him out looking. And the Diamondbacks have had it with Jim Reynolds' strike zone, and now Pennington breaks his bat on the plate, and he's been thrown out. They've been barking all night, and now somebody finally got ejected. We've seen guys shatter bats on baseballs. First time we've ever seen it happen on the plate.
You mentioned that late movement, Joe. Looked like that sinker did work its way back to the corner, but it's been such a wide strike zone tonight. A lot of called third strikes on pitches off the plate.
And now here's the problem, guys. Josh Wilson's already in there at second base, so Aaron Hill, who has that bad hand, may have to come in and play here. You could move PRADO over. Chavez has got a bat now. So we'll have to see how Kurt Gibson reconfigures his infield. Ideally, you'd like to have Aaron Hill sit out unless you really need him, but now you might. Eric Hinsky's up there. It's 1-0. Here's Aaron Hill. It still has some inflammation in that hand. And they don't want to make that any worse. It needs to go down. And when he hits, he grips the bat tightly, and that's what makes the inflammation swell up a little bit.
And you would assume if he's going to come into the game in any way, shape, or form, that he'd be up moving around by now.
Right here with the Diamondbacks, it's important you got to scratch together some runs in this inning. You don't need all of them back at one time, but you want to bite into that lead a little bit here, set it up for the next 2 innings coming up.
In the dirt, gets away from Hernandez. The runners stay put. Eric Hinsky says the two keys to pinch hitting: be aggressive and have a short memory, because you're not going to get it done all the time.
Like a field goal kicker in football.
A view from behind home plate. Hitters count here to Hinsky, 2-1. Wow. 2-2 now.
Pitch was better than it looked. Ramon Hernandez didn't do his pitcher any favors the way he received that particular pitch. Tried to go right back to that sinking fastball inside that he got Pennington looking at. Call this the off the body sinker or the front door sinker. Throw it off the plate, tail it back to the inside corner. That time Hinsky able to foul it off, stay alive.
Marte on second, Wilson on first. One out here in the seventh. Cliff Pennington has been ejected. 3-2. A.J. Pollock is on deck, the leadoff man. There's A.J. Hinsky steps in now. Marte at second, Wilson at first. Ronald Belisario has allowed only one hit against a left-hand batter all season long. Lefties 1 for 8 against Belisario so far this year. It gets through. They'll wave Marte. Wilson headed for third. Pinch hit RBI single for Eric Hinsky. It's 6-2 Dodgers.
Good battling at bat by Eric Hinske ultimately gets a sinker out over the plate where he can get the barrel of the bat on it, just past a diving Skip Schumacher. You're right, Joe. You don't need to get them all back in this inning, but you need to get a couple. Eric Hinske with a big RBI right there.
And now Eric Chavez will come up. He will hit for A.J. Pollock. A.J. had a double in the third. Delivered the Diamondbacks' first run on a ground out to shortstop in the fifth. So Pollock is out now, and Chavez will pinch hit. Back-to-back lefty pinch hitters here off Kirk Gibson's bench. There's the defense. Wilson on third, Hinske on first.
Now, I got to tell you guys, I'm a little surprised that Don Mattingly doesn't have a lefty at least standing on the bullpen mound to make this a tougher decision for Kirk Gibson. If there was a lefty down there just even playing catch, it would maybe cloud your decision-making process as to whether you want to burn your last left-handed batter. But because there's no lefty warming up, we'll send Eric Chavez up there against a right-handed pitcher.
And Bob, the Dodgers have 3 lefties in their bullpen. There's plenty of guys they could put out there.
Big cut by Chavez. 0-2 now.
That's where the cat and mouse game in the National League comes in. You know, if you do see a lefty warming up down there, geez, if I send Chavez up there and they bring in that lefty, then I'll burn him. Have to go to a right-handed pinch hitter, and you know, there's just a strategy that's involved with the matchups late in a ball game.
And don't forget, you've got another left-hand hitter on deck in Gerardo Parra. The bullpen has been an adventure for Don Mattingly. Oh, 2 to Eric Chavez.
An important at bat right here for Chavez. He has to find a way to put this ball in play and get that second run across. Finds himself in a hole. 0-2. Do whatever you can. Find barrel. Hit that ball somewhere out in the outfield.
Try to cut that lead in half. Missed inside. 2-2 now. He's back even. Dunjin Ryu looking on. He was responsible for Marte, who was scored. He's also on the hook for Wilson, who's at third. Right side, it gets through. The run will score. Back-to-back pinch hit RBI singles. The Diamondbacks have cut the lead in half. Bob, we've talked about it all spring long. The veteran presence on the bench late in games.
And it really pays off in a big way in the game here. Hinske with his RBI base hit. Chavez takes advantage of that huge hole on the right side of the infield. Well, you said it, a ground ball pitcher. Chavez with a ground ball through that right side, and the Diamondbacks creeping back into this one.
And now we'll have a conference at the mound. Rick Honeycutt is out there. Both the runners that were put on base by Ryu have come in and scored. And the bullpen, it's still crickets back there.
And this is great about the luxury that Gibby has this year. He has veteran guys who have been in those roles, coming off the bench late in games, that he can throw out there and are going to put together quality at-bats. They did a fantastic job, back-to-back pinch hit singles, bring in both runs. Now you've cut the lead in half. Diamondbacks, really, the momentum, you could feel it changing right now, and this sets him up nicely.
Kirk Gibson said we weren't very good last year when we got behind. We weren't very good pinch hitting. We weren't very good in late and close situations, high leverage situations. And the thought is that when you get veteran guys, they have a better understanding of what that situation calls for. They're a little craftier, and we need that. Gerardo Parra 0 for 3. Tying run at the plate here in the 7th with 1 out. Single by Marte, single by Wilson. That ended Ryu's night. Pennington struck out and was ejected. Hinske RBI single, Chavez RBI single. Now here's Parra 1-0. Up the middle. Sellers. He'll take it himself. Yeah! They get the double play, but the Diamondbacks cut the lead in half. 4 singles in the inning. They get 2 runs in. We're through 7 at 6-3. Backs beginning on the mound. Here's the left-hander Tony Sipp.
Tony and Matt Reynolds forming a nice left-handed duo out of that bullpen so far in the early going for Kirk Gibson.
Now Pennington was ejected and they pinch hit for Pollock, so now the defense, it's basically become a spring training game out there. Martin PRADO will move from third base to second. Wilson moves from second to short to replace Pennington, who was thrown out of the game. And Eric Chavez takes over at third now. PRADO moves to second. New center fielder now is Gerardo Parra. He moves over from right field, and in right field now is the 2013 and Diamondback debut of Cody Ross, who says he feels just fine after that left calf strain. He's running no problem. And now hitting for the pitcher spot will be Juan Uribe. So Chavez at third, Josh Wilson is the shortstop, Martin PRADO at second base, Parr is in center field, and Ross is in right. Tony Sipp will now face Juan Uribe. He has 2 hits this season, both are home runs. Dodgers got 1 in the 4th on a Gonzalez homer, 2 in the 5th, and 3 in the 6th. And that's the home run swing, 1-1.
At this stage of his career, Juan Uribe is a much better off-speed hitter than fastball hitter, but that doesn't stop him from taking home run cuts at high heaters.
He hit a big pinch hit home run in their series against the Padres this week at Petco Park late in the game. Same pitch, same swing, same result, 1-2. He looks like George Scott up there. The boomer.
Well, just keep scooting that fastball up a little bit higher, see if he'll chase another one.
George Scott used to chase those. He'd swing, come out of his shoes, the batting helmet come flying off. The boomer. Did he go? No, says James Hoy down there at first.
Wasn't George Scott the one that had the big necklace on one spring and somebody asked him what it was made out of? He said second baseman's teeth.
He used to have they would look like shark teeth or something. Another George Scott swing, and that's it. One away here in the 8th. George Scott was in Boston when things weren't going so well, and they asked him, George, they heard some trade rumors, you want out? And the Boomer looked up and said, you see that sign? He pointed to the exit sign. You can exit me right out of here.
Now batting for Los Angeles, left fielder Carl Crawford.
Carl Crawford steps in now. Crawford singled in the 3rd, doubled and scored in the 6th. Hitting .421 on the year. Now there's the lineup posted up here at Chase Field. Prado in at second base now. Wilson the shortstop. Cody Ross is the right fielder, and Eric Chavez at third base. Goldschmidt backhands it at first. Sipp hustles over, 2 down. Tony Sipp, former football defensive back and tennis player, gets over there pretty quick.
That's about as fast as I've seen a pitcher get over to cover first base, especially a left-handed thrower. A lot of lefties have a tendency to fall off to the third base side and really have issues recovering and getting over there to cover the bag. But boy, Sipp beat Carl Crawford over there by a mile.
He was a really, really good athlete in high school, Tony Sipp. Okaloosa Walton Community College on the Florida Panhandle. Finished his collegiate career at Clemson. Skip Schumacher. RBI double and scored back in the 5th. Sipp last season over his final 34 appearances for Cleveland put up a 2.64 ERA. Left-handers hit only .209 against him. 23 hits and 110 at bats. Tony, as we've mentioned, not a huge fan of the term loogie, lefty one out guy. Likes to think he can do a little more than that. Trying to go the full 8th inning here. We've seen Reynolds, Colementor, and now Sipp, all in relief of Ian Kennedy. There's a strike, 2-1. In the dirt, nice backhand scoop dart by Miguel Montero. It'll be Prado, Goldschmidt, and Montero in the Diamondbacks' 8th. Walked him. 2-out walk issued by Tony Sipp. Matt Kemp comes up now. Kemp had a 2-run single his last time up.
Center fielder Matt Kemp.
Kemp 1 for 4. Twice flied out to right, struck out in the 5th. 2-run single in the 6th. Dodgers offense had scored more than 4 runs only once through their first 10 games. They have 6 here tonight. That's a balk.
Not sure exactly what happened right there. Tony Sipp,
I think maybe he lost his balance and didn't want to uncork one, knowing there's a runner on base.
Yeah, it looked like that right foot maybe came down a little bit before he was ready. He hadn't completely turned and strided toward home plate. The right foot came down at kind of an awkward angle, and you may be right, just didn't want to risk a wild pitch. But as it is, the runner moves up into scoring position anyway.
Let's see. Yeah, he maybe extended it too far out.
Kind of landed on the side of that hole that develops out in the front of the mound out there where the pitchers land with their stride foot. Looked like he just kind of landed on the side of that awkwardly.
And if that was the case, it was a nice veteran move not to throw the ball, because it could have gone anywhere. So Schumacher moves up into scoring position now. Kemp takes a strike. Matt Kemp, 28 years old, from Midwest City High School in Oklahoma. 6th round pick by the Dodgers in 2003. Oh, 0-2 now. Last season, Matt Kemp hit .331 with runners on base. And he was actually a handful for lefties last season. .363 against left-hand pitchers, 7th best in the major leagues. One and two. Matt Kemp showed up to camp thinner than he's been in years past. Been described as having a more measured attitude, a more forceful presence in the clubhouse. It's a room full of big-name Dodger players and signees looking for a clear leader, and Kemp trying to be that guy. Sip looks Schumacher back to the bag. Don Mattingly says that Kemp is that big presence. He's been here a long time. He knows how it works. Mark Ellis says we brought in a lot of guys, but this is Matt's team, and everyone wants it to be Matt's team. Montero keeps it in front. Schumacher stays at second. Miggy getting a workout back there, Bob.
Yeah, he is. Diamondbacks pitchers recently have been bouncing a lot of pitches in the dirt out there in front of home plate. For the most part, Miggy has smothered them all. Hold the runner right where they're at.
Gonzalez is on deck. He's singled twice and homered, so you'd like to avoid him with men on base if you can here. 2-2. Struck him out looking. Big strikeout there by Tony Sip. He gets 2 in the inning. The Diamondbacks down 6-3. They'll have their 3, 4, and 5 hitters. Prado, Goldschmidt, Montero when we come back to Chase Field. Presented by Ram Trucks. Miguel Montero catches Justin Sellers off first base. That end of the 7th inning.
Just reacting to what he saw on the field right there. Sellers had taken an extra couple steps on his lead at first. Miggy came up out of his crouch and fired a strike to Paul Goldschmidt for the out.
There's Justin Sellers at shortstop. A couple of defensive changes for you to pass along on Don Mattingly's card. Beginning with a new pitcher, here is Kenley Jansen making his 6th appearance of the year.
Leading off for the D-backs.
And as you can see, the walks plus hits divided by innings pitched is outstanding. Mark Ellis has come into the game. He'll play second base now. And Skip Schumacher, who was at second, has moved out to left field. He takes over for Carl Crawford out there. Prado, Goldschmidt, Montero, 3, 4, and 5 here in the 8th. Martin Prado, 0 for 3. Struck out looking his last time up and stood at the plate and had a discussion with plate umpire Jim Reynolds, who has also thrown out Cliff Pennington in this game for the same thing. Pennington smashed his bat on home plate in half, and they'll generally get your run.
I mentioned when Ronald Belisario came in the ballgame, he loves his fastball, but he threw a lot of sinking fastballs. Kenley Jansen likes his fastball, throws a lot of cutters. That ball will move away from the right-handed hitter.
1-1, that one at 92 miles an hour. Jansen last pitched for the Dodgers Thursday at San Diego. Pitched 1 inning, had a strikeout, and got the save. 4 2/3 scoreless innings this season. Opponents hitting 133 against him, just 2 for 15. 2 walks, 6 strikeouts. Diamondbacks trying to get to 8-3 for just the 2nd time in their history. Last time was 2000. But they're down 3 here as Prado leads off the 8th. Hit him. Or did it hit the bat?
Boy, it sure sounded like it hit something.
He's got that elbow guard up there. No, it hit Jim Reynolds' mask is what that noise was.
Ramon Hernandez just kind of fanned on that fastball up and in. It caught the side of Jim Reynolds' mask, narrowly missing Martin Prado.
It had that distinctive sound of ball hitting equipment. But the equipment was the mask of the home plate umpire. So it's 2-2 now. Three and 2. Kenley Jansen has been a thorn in the Diamondbacks side. 15 games, 8 saves, an ERA of .63. Left field. Schumacher looking up. Martin Prado, home run. Martin Prado takes Kenley Jansen a yard. And the Diamondbacks have cut the Dodger lead to 2. Prado's 2nd home run this year. That's a Fulton home run. Another $150 going to Central Arizona Mountain Rescue Association for our friends at Fulton Homes.
Martin Prado now 3 for 3 lifetime with 2 home runs against Kenley Jansen. Got himself in a favorable count. Jansen's thrown nothing but fastballs so far, and Prado able to tomahawk that one out of here to left field.
Paul Goldschmidt 2 for 3, struck out his last time up. Third base side, Uribe. Low throw in time, one away.
Oh, you love to see that right there. Martin Prado had an extended at bat, saw a lot of pitches. He's back there on the bench, imparting the knowledge that he garnered in that at bat. Explaining to Josh Wilson what he saw, what the fastball looks like, the kind of movement that it has when it gets in the hitting zone. That's the best scouting report you can get. One of your teammates that has just had an at bat against a pitcher.
It's certainly the most recent report you're going to get. Miguel Montero now struck out in the 2nd, walked in the 4th, grounded out in the 6th.
16 appearances against the D-backs. That's the first home run that Kenley Jansen has surrendered. In that time, 31 strikeouts, 2 walks.
Miggy 250 on the year, a homer, 7 RBI. Martin Prado now with 2 homers and 6 RBI on the year. Beat LA chant gets louder and louder here at Chase Field. 20,000 Beat LA t-shirts throughout the crowd. Great crowd here tonight. 37,000 plus on hand. Here's the shirts. Big street festival outside. The Libre's in the house. 0-2 now. Another big crowd expected tomorrow afternoon. And then it's on the plane and headed to New York for a 9-game road trip that begins Tuesday with 3 at Yankee Stadium. Then on to Colorado and then San Francisco. Two and two.
It's never fair to compare anybody to Mariano Rivera, but Kenley Jansen, similar style of pitcher, just throws cutter after cutter after cutter. Occasionally will mix in a high 4-seamer just to try to change the hitter's eye level, but he's going to live and die with that cut fastball in the low 90s.
Center field, Kemp drops in front. Hernandez, Bob, just set up right down the middle with that one, and that's where Jansen threw it. Miguel Montero, his first hit. 10 hits now for the Diamondbacks. Look where he sets up. He threw it right to the glove.
Maybe got in just a little bit near the trademark of Miguel Montero. Looked like he struck it much better than it turned out. Little one hopper into center field. We all want tacos.
Tying run at the plate now with 1 out here in the 8th. Alfredo Marte singled and scored his last time up. 1 for 3 on the night. 1-0. Marte 5 for 20 on the year. And how about right now to get a hold of his first major league home run?
Oh, wouldn't it be something?
2-0.
Well, you've had a couple pitches to see the release point, see the movement on that cut fastball.
Rick Honeycutt wants to talk about it. J.J. Putz, who got the save here last night, warming up. Rally caps are on. Beat LA t-shirts are on. Jim Reynolds out there to break up the meeting. Now the Beat LA chants really starting to get cranked up here. Diamondback Nation. 37,000 plus here. Roof is open. Panels open. D-backs were down 6-1. Now they have the tying run at the plate with 1 out here in the 8th. Ooh. He was on that, boy. He was on that one.
I guarantee you Don Baylor has no issues with that 2-0 swing from Alfredo Marte. Got the cutter inside part of the plate. Marte looking to hit one to Gilbert right there.
Rally cap looking good. 2-1 now. 2-2.
It looks like the more Jansen takes off that fastball, the more cutting action he gets. That one only 90 miles per hour and really moved almost like a right-handed slider away from the bat of Marte.
Marte's hit safely now in 4 of the last 5 games, including tonight. Got him.
2 down. Aaron Hill is coming out on deck. Aaron Hill is going to hit for Josh Wilson here. And the crowd sees this, and now they're on their feet. Bruised left hand. It's a left hand contusion. He sat out yesterday, sat out Wednesday, and now here's Aaron Hill. Can he pull a Willis Reed here? Hit on the top of the left hand by a James McDonald pitch Tuesday night. X-rays were negative. The hand was very sore. But Kirk Gibson told us before the game, I won't hesitate to use him tonight if I need him, and now he does. 0-1. Aaron Hill wore out right-hand pitching last season. .316. Second in the National League behind only LA's Andre Ethier. Oh, 0-2. And it's funny, it's the left hand for Aaron Hill, and he always thinks of himself, he says, as a top hand guy, top hand hitter.
Looks like they want to elevate a fastball here in the 0-2 count. Hey, even when they try to waste one up high out of the zone, it's a cut fastball.
Cody Ross is on deck. Two and two.
Boy, tough take there by Aaron Hill.
Wow, he just spit on that one. 5 for 10 as a career pinch hitter. I mean, he's been in the dugout. He's seen the strike zone. He's heard the complaints. He's watched Cliff Pennington get thrown out. That's a really good take there. Three and two. Woo! Wow, this is a major league at bat right here.
Aaron Hill has his X-ray vision on tonight. Ooh, cut fastball right at the knees on the outside corner. Caught a huge break right there. Make it hurt.
Montero on first. 2 outs. Aaron Hill tying run at the plate. 22 pitches by Jansen now. 12 for strikes. Here's the 3-2. Hill drives it to left. Montero will score. Pinch hit RBI double for Aaron Hill, and it's 6-5. Give him a hand.
Ball hit like a bullet down that left field line. A hanging cutter up above the belt. It's about halfway up the fence, just inside the left field foul pole. By the time Skip Schumacher can run it down, Miguel Montero has come around from first base to score. We got ourselves a 1-run ball game.
And now with a tying run on second and 2 outs here in the game, Cody Ross will make his first at-bat as an Arizona Diamondback. Just activated about an hour before game time tonight. He has missed the entire season with a calf strain. He's hit with Visalia. He was with Reno last night. Now he's in here with a tying run on second. Belisario. Jansen, in relief of Ryu, struck out 9. 1-0.
There's a strike. 1-1. Cody had a flair for the dramatic with the Red Sox last season. .284 career hitter with runners in scoring position. Hill the tying run on second. How about Diamondback pinch hitters tonight? Hinsky, Chavez, Hill.
Money.
All RBI base hits. Foul down the right field line. Tough spot for Cody. He hit it for a while at Class A Visalia and said the pitching was kind of erratic. Young guys not all able to throw strikes. Had some AAA at bats last night. Did well. And he makes his Diamondback debut right here. Will Nieves is on deck.
Last available position player for Kirk Gibson off the Diamondbacks bench. Will Nieves in the on deck circle.
Got him looking. Cody Ross not happy with Jim Reynolds' strike zone. 2 strikeouts in the inning. Both looking, but Martin Prado starts it off against Kenley Jansen. The home run is second of the year. And then Aaron Hill, a pinch hit RBI double, will go to the 9th. The Diamondbacks back within 1. And the D-backs bid farewell to a legend of the game, Hall of Fame broadcaster Joe Garagiola. He'll be honored with a special pregame ceremony as the D-backs close out this series with the Dodgers. And Joe G will make his final appearance in the booth during the broadcast. It's going to be quite a moment. We hope you'll join us for this special tribute tomorrow. It starts at noon, beginning with In My Own Words, Joe Garagiola on Fox Sports Arizona. Joe, thanks very much. Well, we're looking forward to that. Aaron Hill stays in the game now. He'll play second base. Martin Prado moves to shortstop now. So Prado playing his 3rd position of the night in the infield. He started at 3rd, went to 2nd, and now he's at short. Hill at 2nd. Tony Sipp is still in there for the Diamondbacks. Gonzalez and ETHIER, 2 lefties, will lead off the 9th. So Tony Sipp, who said he would prefer a bigger role, he doesn't want to be a one-out guy, getting a chance here. Sipp had 2 strikeouts in the 8th. Gonzalez, first pitch swinging, center field. Parr is out there. That's a big out right there, 1 down. Gonzalez had twice singled in the game and homered in the 4th. So 1 away now for ETHIER. Dodger bullpen. Is it Brandon League? Yep. The closer is up. ETHIER struck out his last time up. He had an RBI single back in the 5th. He struck out twice tonight. Oh, 0-1. ETHIER last year, 284, 20 home runs, and 89 RBI. But he hit only 222 against left-hand pitchers. Left center. It's off the wall. Marte will play it on the one hop. Stand-up double Andre ETHIER. ETHIER 2 for 4 with a walk tonight.
We talked about it with Adrian Gonzalez last night. A lot of times a left-handed hitter who's struggling needs an at-bat against a tough left-handed pitcher. That time Andre ETHIER didn't try to pull that ball, let it get deep in the hitting zone, drove it to the opposite field.
So the plan was for Sip to face Gonzalez and ETHIER, the two lefties. And now we'll see Heath Bell here. Heath Bell makes his entrance at Chase Field. We take a break for now. Ramon Hernandez is on deck. He'll be up when we come back. Pilots, number 21 on the mound, the Heath Bell experience. Ramon Hernandez steps up, one out here in the ninth. ETHIER on second after the one out double. Strike, 0-1. The numbers on Heath Bell, and since that first outing here against the Cardinals, much improved.
Picked up his first save as a D-back last Sunday against the Milwaukee Brewers. Fastball curveball combination from Heath.
Once again, Miguel Montero keeps it in front. Hernandez swung on that one, so now it's 0-2. Heath Bell has said every great player has a down year, and it's really how you react the next year.
If you chase it once, try it again. Bounce that curveball out there in the left-handed batter's box. See if you can get Hernandez to chase another one.
And you've got to have tremendous faith in the guy that's behind the plate to throw that pitch with the important potential run on second base. Miguel Montero. Give you a lot more confidence in those breaking balls when guys are on base. Mark Ellis is on deck. He came into the game to play second base. 1-2 now. Didn't get the outside corner from Jim Reynolds. 2-2.
One thing we've seen throughout the evening, Jim Reynolds will give you a little bit on the inside part of the plate to a right-handed hitter, but he's going to make you hit the corner on that side of the plate.
That's a good call right there. 2-2. Been a little bit of a mixed bag from the plate umpire today. Hernandez hit into a double play back in the second, walked in the fourth, fielder's choice in the fifth, grounded to second in the seventh. ETHIER, double off Sip with 1 out. 13 hits for the Dodgers, 11 for the Diamondbacks. LA has left 9. 2-2 one more time. Yeah! Fair ball down the right field line. They wave ETHIER. Here comes the run. RBI double for Hernandez. It's 7-5 LA. Back-to-back doubles here in the ninth.
Well, 2 strikes. Ramon Hernandez almost gives up trying to pull the ball. He gets a fastball down over the plate, just slices it down into that right field corner for an RBI double.
So it's a 2-run Dodger lead now. That run gets charged to Tony Sip. And stepping in Luis Cruz's spot is Mark Ellis. First double for Hernandez, brings in a run and makes it a 2-run lead again. And we mentioned they hadn't scored a whole lot this year. Dodgers offense had scored more than 4 runs only once in 10 games. They've got 7 here tonight. Ellis having a terrific year. The 1-1. Strike 1-2.
Well, it's been a little bit of feast or famine for the Diamondbacks pitching staff this year. In the 11 ball games, 6 times they've allowed 5 or more runs. The other 5 times they've allowed 2 or fewer. Very little middle ground.
Struck him out. 2 outs now.
Shortstop
Justin Sellers will hit. He singled his last time up. 1 for 4. And 6 for 30 on the year. Bell behind here, 2-0. There's a strike, 2-1. 55 major league games over the previous 2 seasons. Justin Sellers hit .204. He's a career .268 hitter over 8 minor league years. Three and 1 now. Sellers, born in Bellflower, California, went to high school in Huntington Beach. Played at Cal State Fullerton. Oakland A's got him in the 6th round of the '05 draft. Can't catch up to the fastball. It's 3-2. Juan Uribe is on deck.
Struck him out looking. 2 strikeouts in the inning for Heath Bell. But Hernandez has the RBI double. We'll go to the bottom of the 9th. Gerardo Parra due up 3rd in the inning. Diamondbacks need at least 2 here. Closer, the new pitcher is Brandon League.
The numbers on Brandon League this season. Threw over 30 pitches a couple of days ago. Should be able to bounce back. Features a good fastball in the mid to upper 90s. Throw an occasional slider. His out pitch is usually either the fastball or a split-fingered fastball that he really started throwing full-time back in the 2010 season.
His last game was Wednesday in San Diego. Pitched 1 inning and did get the save, but he gave up 2 runs on 3 hits. 1 was earned and had a strikeout. He is a perfect 9 for 9 in save opportunities in 32 games as a Dodger. Opponents batting .188 against him this year. He's given up only 1 hit to a right-hand batter all season long. And stepping in now, batting in the 9 spot, is Will Nieves, as Kurt Gibson has emptied the bench. Everyone's been involved tonight. Hinske had a pinch hit, RBI single in the 7th. Chavez followed with the same. There's a strike. Cody Ross struck out looking in his first Diamondback at bat in the last inning. Aaron Hill has come in. RBI double as a pinch hitter. Now Nieves. One and one.
That was the Brandon League slider right there. He usually throws that only against right-handed hitters. That one kind of hung up there for Will Nieves. So high it was out of the strike zone. Here comes another one.
2-1.
Better location that time, but still out of the zone. That's a good 2-strike pitch when you've got the batter on the defensive. Throw it out there near the outside part of the plate and break it low and away. Good take by Will Nieves to put the count in his favor.
Nieves last year released by the Rockies on August 3rd. He played 34 games at AAA Colorado Springs, hit .306, rehabbing a turf toe injury. But with Willeen Rosario hitting his way into the Rookie of the Year discussion, there wasn't room for Nieves for the Rockies, so he was waived. 3 days later, he was picked up by the D-backs. Sellers it short, 1 away.
Sounded like Nieves may have broken his bat there. A little soft liner to Sellers at shortstop. Almost misjudged that ball. So much of the reaction of, especially of an infielder, is based on the swing by the batter at the plate. Nieves took a full swing that time, but hit the ball down near the trademark. Just hit a little floater out toward short.
Eric Chavez, an RBI single his last time up. Chavez 5 for 17 on the year. There's a strike, 1-1. Last season, 281, 16 home runs, 37 RBIs with the Yankees. His 16 home runs were 11 more than his total from the previous 4 seasons combined. And obviously, the big difference was he's healthy. Took a shot on the elbow not too long ago, hit by a pitch, looked bad, and a big bruise. Feeling better now, though. I asked Eric about that before the game, and he said, I thought it was done. He thought it was broken. It sounded like it was broken.
Unfortunately, caught him just a little bit above that right elbow. Had it hit right on the bone. Probably wouldn't see Eric Chavez taking this at bat right here.
2-2 now. The Cuba Libres. The rally masks are on. They're a little distressed today that Jason had to go on the DL. Replaced by Cody Ross in the roster. Rally caps everywhere else. In front of the plate, right back to lead. The throw pulls Gonzalez off the bag, but James Hoy says he had a foot on there. 2 down.
Great footwork down there at first by Adrian Gonzalez. I'll tell you, a good first baseman can make tremendous adjustments on errant throws, and that was a horrible throw. He drags that left toe across the bag, and they get the call from first base umpire James Hoy.
And of course, Chavez can't see the ball, but he can see Gonzalez suddenly moving there, and he knew something was wrong. So with 2 outs now, here's Gerardo Parra, 0 for 4. Steps in here at 3:13. 0-1. Parra has reached base safely in 9 of the 10 games so far this season. He has yet to be on base tonight. First base side, Gonzalez takes a funny hop. And they get him in time. The Dodgers hang on and win it 7-5, and they take the second game of this 3-game series. Even down to the last out, the Diamondbacks still look like they had a chance here. A little bobble by Gonzalez at first.
Gonzalez, like a lot of good players in this game, has the ability to slow the game down. He knew he had time to get the ball on to Brandon Lee covering the bag for the final out of the ball game.
It was not Ian Kennedy's night. It was a career night for Hyunjin Ryu. He had 3 hits, his first 3 major league hits, and he had 9 strikeouts. A one-man wrecking crew. He looked, as we said before, like Babe Ruth. Jody Jackson and Joe Borowski are out in center field.
All right, thanks a lot, Steve. Yeah.